All right, and we are live. The last word with Lord Cognito and Ebontis. Friday evening campfire. What's going on, man? Just another regular day. No special guest, right?
No guests, no activity in the gaming world, no community in a frenzy or anything. Nothing at all. No,
Nothing at all.
We got a lot to talk about, but before we do, we have an awesome guest. We tried to get him on before. My internet said no. Today we say, screw you, internet, and we're going to make this happen.
Bring him in.
All right. Welcome to the last word, number 136. We have been chosen, but we are not quite sure why. The Destiny player base is all in a frenzy, and even though Kaito wants us to bend the knee, Zavala has chosen to say F that in epic fashion. A new season is upon us with lots of new shiny things, and who better to discuss it with than a master of the Destiny arts? A gamer from way back who started on the 8-bit systems like many of us who are no longer spring chickens. A lover of adventure, platformers, and shooters from the early days of gaming. That recipe could only lead to one thing. You might say it was his destiny.
Woo.
This man is already a band teacher, drum master, unconventional golfer, and Tetris champion, but he wanted more. Like many of us who started with a group of friends playing Destiny, he is another one of the last men standing in his Destiny circle. But there is nothing wrong with that because his work wasn't done yet. Could you get a flawless trials card with nothing but a few drum pads? He found out you could. Is there a record for the most 0-hour clears ever? He has that too. Feeling unworthy of our guest as usual, let's welcome a man who has more Ascendant Challenge videos than even I do. A member of the Fudge Pusher stream team, a lover of birds, someone who knows that floofing doesn't feel right, and that Taking King is the best raid. The one, the only, ManoDestra 777. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. Gee, man, I don't know after that. I should go get the other guy. I mean, it actually sounds pretty good. I'm just saying. That's pretty hype, man. What's up, guys? Well, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. I'm so glad we
can do it. Yeah, so glad. I felt so bad last time, but now hopefully the stream gods are with us. You know what I'm saying? We got a man in the building by the campfire. Oh, man. I'm excited, man. How you been, though, otherwise?
Things are good, man. It's cold up here in Minnesota. It's going to be, over the weekend, it's going to be like a wind chill of -40 and like a low of like -16. So
nope.
I'm not leaving the house.
Yeah. Bro, we in the Northeast, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut right now. We just got like 10, 12 inches of snow. And it's been like non-stop snow all the time. And we're like, okay, I'm done with this now. I'm done shoveling. So that's like, it has to be like life for you. At some point, weather-wise, but we don't have that temperature. I will say this: you can keep that temperature.
Yep.
I'll do what I can. I'll talk to the folks over here, see if we can keep that over in the side.
Yeah, no doubt, man. But yeah, let's get into it, man. I mean, obviously, tremendous Destiny stuff we'll get into, and obviously, you know what you're doing as a content creator. But about the journey as far as a gamer, man, like some classic titles in your history, some NES, some Sega later. So I wanted to talk about that, man. You had some heavy hitters you discussed.
Everybody there?
Oh, I'm here.
I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It looked like it froze for a second. Yeah.
Nope, yeah.
We're make sure.
Yeah. We just,
okay. Go.
See, technical difficulties. We're weary now. So no,
Yeah,
just
we're
like
weary.
what was your gaming history started like 8-bit with some ones that are obviously hold a pretty cool space to me. So like. And also the fact that it's hilarious. You're like, oh, the first gaming system, and your dad regrets it still ever since, which is amazing. So just kind of your history through gaming and what games hooked you as you were younger. And obviously we know you kind of landed on Destiny as you put everything together. But what are the main pieces that what were your gaming years as you were, a wee little one like some of us were once ever, long time ago?
Sure.
We're too old.
I mean, some people would call me a little bit of a boomer, but yeah, definitely like classic NES. I remember my brother and I were like, yo, we got to have that classic NES, yo. And we really got into, my brother and I really got into like the Mega Man games a whole ton. I am like, that's
my
like
jam.
actually my jam, like all the Mega Man games and stuff like that. So that was amazing. I did the Mario thing, but like in Mario, who didn't play Mario 3?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, have you guys
For
ever
like
seen the
13
movie?
hours, too much. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you ever see the movie The Wizard? If you ever get a chance, like, Lord Cognito knows that one.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like Super Mario Brothers 3 and stuff like that. So I was terrible. I was a terrible brother. I annoyed my brother after the NES. I was a horrible, terrible brother. And I said, we're not getting a Super Nintendo. I want a Sega because I want to play that stupid blue hedgehog.
Listen.
You went the wrong way, man. I'm so sorry.
No. Listen. No, you are a man of culture. Listen, I know this NES guy.
Come on. SNES is like one of the greatest consoles.
Of course. But the man needed some Genesis. He needed some Sega. He needed some speed. He needed a blast processing. Exactly. He needed to know what Nintendo don't.
That's right. Oh my gosh, what Nintendo! What an ad campaign! Absolutely. So I was terrible, and my brother still gives me a hard time for that. We did get like an SNES later, but mainly did that. If you've never played, there's a couple of Sega like just classic games that I really enjoyed too, other than the Sonic games. If you ever get a chance to check out Gunstar Heroes,
oh my lord,
that is one of goodness. That was like my brother and I's favorite game because we could both play. It was like kind of like a platform shooter, but if you've played Cuphead at any point, like I know that's a weird jump, but it's because like they're very similar games and like a lot of stuff was inspired from Gunstar Heroes for that game, and that's like one of the best Sega games. If you ever get a chance to like play it, it's an amazing game. And then Shining Force is an RPG that a lot of people don't know about. It's kind of a Final Fantasy-ish, but it's more linear. It's a little explorer-y, and so we like that. But then after that, like lots of really good Sega games. We did again an NES eventually, and then I saw
Link to the Past on there, but I also got to go back. We got to go back 8-bit.
Yeah.
Mega Man. Which is my question?
The best Mega Man of all time is Mega Man 3.
Thank you.
Mega Man 2. Mega Man 2 is a close second.
But 3 has part of 2 in it, so therefore it's got to be better.
Exactly. Look at that. That's what I'm talking about. That's like
we all in sync.
Yeah.
And I think part of it was too the music from all the Mega Man games. Since I'm a musician, like
Dr. Wily's theme, I find it on Spotify every so often. Dude, I can just jam to that. Oh, so good. Man. No, and then Mega Man X, did you play?
See, that was my SNES years. Now I kind of cheated a little bit because, you talked about Link to the Past and let's see what else. Mega Man X, all 1, 2, 3, Super Metroid. I got a chance to play all those games because when I got to college, I know I'm jumping ahead a little bit. I played a little bit of SNES, but because we had the Sega and then we had the N64, I did kind of skip the SNES years. But when I got into college, I figured out how to do an emulator, and I had every SNES game. So I went through like the entire catalog. So I went through
Metroid.
Everything. Ooh. Yeah, that's a special one for me too. What a game. What a and so I did that for the Sega. I originally looked for it Cognito because I wanted to get all the Sega games. I'm like, there's got to be an SNES version of this, right? So yeah. So if there's any video game companies that are like, you shouldn't be emulating, I didn't say nothing. I didn't say nothing.
Years ago, the statute of limitations is passed. Statute of limitations up, man. You're good, brother. It's got to be like 7 years or something.
Yeah, but I did play the Mega Man X series. I don't have a favorite there. I do like the first one just because it's just
first one's
it's classic. It's classic.
It was just classic. Because, honestly, part of Mega Man is, I think, one of the reasons why I like Souls games is because they're in that punishing,
it's in that vein.
You get 2 lives. If you don't get it right, you got to go through, you got to learn everything, kind of understand it and go. And it's like, and Miyazaki took the punishment of older games that had to be shorter. And again, you can see them now. Souls games, people can beat them in 30 minutes if you know it, but the first time you played, it's like 50 hours. So. No, that's when you said Mega Man, I was like, man after my own heart. It's amazing.
Well, classic, man. I mean,
Mega Man Soccer. Who did I ask this about? Was it who did we have on recently who liked soccer? FIFA. Bearded Luke.
Bearded Luke.
Yeah, Bearded Luke.
But Mega Man Soccer. A thank you, Outsanity or New Red. No, Outsanity. I can't read chat. Did you play Mega Man Soccer?
Played it once.
Okay,
It
so at least you
wasn't-
know it
it-
exists.
It was fine. It was fine. I kind of got off the Mega Man train when, what was it? Mega Man 64. I wanted that game to be so good.
Yeah,
And
that's
it's so not.
That's not.
so not.
That's not the one you use to sell people in Mega Man.
Mhm.
No.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that. I was like, See, I came into the series a little later, and then I went back and saw the classics after. But that's why I didn't have the affinity. But when you play the original, you see, like, okay, I get it. I get why at this time frame, not only was this revolutionary from a difficulty standpoint and things of that nature, it definitely changed the game. I just like the cool. I always thought that artwork was cool.
Oh,
The
yeah.
designs,
Mhm.
this man, that man. Everybody had their, their
Wood
little
guy.
thing. Yeah, wood
Yep.
guy. It's just funny little cute
It's
things.
true.
I was just like, it was cool, man. You gotta
Yeah.
love it. You gotta love
It's
it.
funny
man.
because they got away from that in Mega Man X because everyone gave him a hard time about it. It's like, we're done. We can't come up with any other names. You can't be like Birdman,
Yeah.
like Bubble Man. Originally, everyone was like, Bubble Man's a stupid name, but the music from that level is awesome.
Yep.
Fire.
Awesome. It's
Okay.
that music is dope. Although, again, Mega Man 2, it's there. I liked Mega Man 4 as well. Mega Man 5, I think, is where I started to kind of be like, okay, I've got my fill of Mega Man. Time to do something different.
You don't need to play them all.
No.
Nice. The Mega Man series. Salute.
Well,
Yeah.
so you definitely got some historic gaming. Sounds like we all grew up through much of the same stuff.
Mhm.
College and everything like that. And then got into some more shooters more, it seems like. So how did you get from obviously stuff like Mega Man, Star Fox 64, Link to the Past? Like, what got you into shooters and what specific ones kind of led you in the path towards obviously what we're talking about today?
I get to blame my brother on this one. He could blame me earlier. I get to blame my brother on this one. So I remember it was like 2004 or 5 whenever COD Modern Warfare came out.
Ooh.
He had bought an Xbox 360 and he brought it home and he was just playing it over the break. And so I was like, this is actually, he's like, dude, you got to play this. Dude, you got to play this. And so I got into it. I'm like, oh man, I'm really terrible at shooters. But we all played GoldenEye back in the day,
Yep.
right? We all played
Absolutely.
GoldenEye back in the
Classic.
day. Classic.
Classic.
Let's see. But I got into that and I really started vibing on the original Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Like that was my jam.
That's original Respawn. That's Vincent Pella and them boys. Yeah, that changed the game. That changed the game. Halo was a little bit in trouble when that came out.
And I'm gonna be honest with you, especially this is weird coming from like a Destiny side of you. I did not play a lot of Halo when I was in college or even earlier.
Me neither.
I played like this much, but not a ton. Like I was mostly a COD guy. And I did a little bit of Halo as kind of like a backside of things, and I liked the story and I liked the music, but it wasn't like a game that I played like I would COD. So
COD was amazing, man. Fast pace. For me, it was the 60 frames was transformative at that time. That's what I realized. I'm like, this game is different. Why is it different?
Yeah.
It's moving so much fast. The reaction is so much, and then you got the perks and kill confirmed and all this. It was just so much going on, and I was just like, yo. It was one of those moments in gaming like, okay, this is changing the game for sure.
Yeah,
so continue.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I'm finished. I was just gonna say, so continue as you were saying with Modern Warfare.
For me, like COD was transformative because I was terrible, and that's kind of how I work with things. Like I usually the first time I do it, I am absolutely terrible, and no matter what, like I'm just awful. And I was the same way with Destiny too. And then like I eventually just get addicted to it and just keep doing it until like I'm at least somewhat good or somewhat average.
See, I want to see, do you play any Souls games? Because that literally sounds
No.
exactly how that goes.
No, and I mean, like I tried to do it once. I'm gonna do because I've got a PS5. I want to do what's the samurai
Sekiro or Neo?
Sekiro. I want to get into that now that I've got a
Sekiro's a good one.
PS5.
Sekiro's a slightly different animal. Somebody in my chat was actually asking me recently, like, never played a Souls game. Which one would I recommend? And in all honesty, I wish they would refresh Bloodborne and kind of get on that.
Yeah.
Because that is my first one. I've been hooked since Bloodborne. I played Dark Souls 3, Jedi Fallen Order, Sekiro, Demon Souls. Like, Demon Souls is good to see later. But that is not where I would actually probably tell anyone to start.
Sure.
Because the quality of life stuff people learned. Sekiro is a different game because it has something else to it, which I don't want to ruin until you get there. Sekiro is awesome, though. So when you get there, it's so much fun.
And it is a little weird because I did have experience with first-person shooters before, like after GoldenEye and before. I didn't even ever think of it, but when I was younger, right before I went to college, what was it called? It was Jedi Outcast. Came out like one of the old, and that's where I actually I didn't even realize it. Like I actually had some keyboard mouse skill because that was a shooter.
Yep.
You also had a lightsaber, and then you did the force push stuff. And we're talking like old school, and the graphics were like barely there.
Running
but
on my parents' like 133 hertz mega like computer.
Yup, that's exactly right.
Shout out to the old graphics.
So I had done that, and so I did have a little bit of a background there before jumping onto the Modern Warfare train and stuff like that. But like that game, Cognito's right. It was so transformative. It completely changed everything. I think Halo and Modern Warfare, those two games are like the things that pushed that whole idea forward, pushed that whole, I mean, we're still kind of going through that today.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. I think it's one of those things, for Halo, it was more of a, can the console space do first person and can it do it well? And I think that was the first time. And it was just like, wow, this feels good. This looks good. And I can't believe I'm playing on a console. And then the whole thing with LAN parties to the evolution of like online and stuff like that. So, it was, that's where Halo holds for me. But with you, I remember when Modern Warfare came out, and it's one of those shifts. You never forget. You're like, wow. And the addiction. I was horrible. I would always get the perk that when you get killed, then you're already on the ground and then you just shoot for the ground. Because I was going to get killed. So I was like, let me get the one that lets you. It's called Last Stand.
Last Stand, yeah.
Last Stand.
That was the perk I was good at. I'd get my cheap little kills, but you try to come and execute me afterwards. I was already down. But yeah, man, like it was just so good. And whatever it was, you just wanted to keep playing and it would go on all night. And the thing they did well, which Destiny needs to learn sometime, is, perk system, prestige, those cool emblems you get for the amount of time you play. And
what, you don't want a little pip? Your little gilded pip?
The gilded pip. I want those elaborate platinum glowing things going on.
Yeah, if you go like level 10, your emblem looks pretty ridiculous, which is the point. You've done a lot.
Exactly.
Yeah. I gotta make like a quick U-turn back real fast because I keep thinking of things that you told us.
Let's go.
Blockbuster championships and also Tetris. What was the championship in first?
Okay. Hold on. I can go grab it. Give me a second.
This is even better. He's gonna get the receipts.
He's about to get the exclusive. Let's go.
Blockbuster Game Championship.
Yo, just the name.
If you just say Blockbuster alone, you just be like, all right, how old are you?
So, when I was younger, this was like, what was it? Like middle school?
Yeah.
So Blockbuster, when it was still a thing, they did video game championships.
What?
And so like, who's the, like, it's just funny because like people are like, yeah, I'm the something. Like I actually have a legit, like it's right here. It's still right here. It's covering my real name. Just to make sure. But my brother really wanted to do it. And it was in 1995. And, we never went to Blockbuster. I used to live up in North Dakota, so we had like another rental store. There was a really nice like mom and pop
kind of store. Yep, those we used to go to too. Yeah.
But then we heard that they were like offering prizes to do this stuff, and so my brother were like, "We're pretty good at video games," and my brother I'm just gonna be honest with you, like. I was pretty young at the time, and like my brother was just getting into high school, and so they had two different age brackets. So my brother and I would actually play, and we actually figured stuff out. But I knew all the tips and tricks that he did. And so he went into like the high school, like older person category. And he got like fifth. No, he got fourth. And so he got like a jacket.
Nice.
But I ended up winning my division, which was basically like middle school.
Okay.
So I am the 1995 store champion.
Talk to him.
That's amazing.
Legit.
That's amazing. Right
that is never leaving your side until you die.
I know. It's funny because like
what games, by the way? Sorry.
So the two games we had to play was NBA Jam 95, which was banger. Banger of a game.
Boom shakalaka.
Boom shakalaka. Yeah, that's right. And then Judge Dredd. of all things.
Ooh,
And the
okay,
key,
okay.
the secret is there was something in Judge Dredd. There was like a little area you had to go to, and you could not win if you didn't know this area. There was a little secret area where there was a little like pickup. It was like worth 1 million points.
Oh,
and so
cool.
if you did that, you were good. The main reason my brother and I wanted to do it is because if you won, you got free games. You got 2 free rentals a month for a year.
Oh,
So like, and they let you have it for like 2 weeks, not like 2 days or whatever. The old Blockbuster, like they were just like, yo, we got you.
yo,
So-
let me.
You were
I
Blockbuster
gotta slow him down.
royalty. That
I gotta
is
slow him down right now
Dr.
because
Disrespect is actually like the 2 times, and I'm like, dude, where is it?
where's your black?
Where's yours?
I want to see
Where's
it.
yours? Let's see
Where's
it.
the
There,
black?
Doc.
Let's go.
Let's see
Listen,
yours.
man.
That's amazing.
I didn't even know about this. That is pretty amazing. I didn't even know how involved Blockbuster was on the competition level.
Yeah, and by the way, I just want to give some love to Cognito. That's the correct format right there, Genesis. Just
Genesis,
saying.
talk to him. Let's go. Listen, man, that right there is historic. The thing that's so cool about it is that, again, it's from a culture that so many this age group, this generation, have no idea what we're talking about. The days of rental, the renting game, and like what you're talking about is premium prize. Like at that time, what would you get? Like a day or 2 for a rental? You got to give it back to the store, that kind of thing.
God.
They're giving you 2 games per month for like at 2 weeks at a time kind of deal. That is
huge.
unheard of. And it was just, I mean, back at that time, renting games, renting systems, just before the digital era, everything's all physical. And wow, you're taking me back, man. And I also remember, I'm glad you said that even though you weren't a member, you had your local mom and pop kind of rental place also.
Family
and that
video or
existed.
whatever it was.
Yeah, exactly. They used to put their name on the top of the box cover. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just classic stuff, bro.
So like the mom and I gotta speak to this. The mom and pop place was this place called CCI Video. Of all the names, that's like the worst name.
Yeah.
We were on an Air Force base up in North Dakota, and so this was like this little tiny town like off the way. But this video store, I'm talking like it was better than like Blockbuster. They had all the games, they had all the videos, because all the folks from the air base would come over. They didn't want to drive like 20 miles to the bigger city. They wanted to just go like 5 minutes outside of the town, pick up something and go back to the base. So it was that is actually kind of transformative. But you're right, Cognito, on that one, 100%. So
yeah, brother. I mean, you took me back, man. That's classic.
Absolutely.
Brother.
That is Yep. You know you're old when you know Blockbuster, like rental time periods, and remember the rewind machines of VHS and all that fun. So we're all too old, but that takes us through your gaming years until you plop down in front of this thing called a beta for the sci-fi world of this game.
Let's get to it. Let's get to it, man. How did the love start? How did the addiction start?
Okay, so I was really into Titanfall at the time. Like that was, I had moved because I had gotten really sick of COD, because this was like maybe like COD 3 was around. So I was kind of like, it's fine. It's just more COD, you know? You can't go back. You can't go back to the original Call of Duty Modern Warfare. So everything was, better in a way, but it was also different.
The Black Ops came, but it started to get redundant, right? You start to see, but continue.
So I literally walked by, and this is going to sound crazy. I literally walked by in Best Buy. I walked by this big upright thing for Destiny, and I literally like looked at it and I said, there's something about this that is going to change your life somehow. I don't know how. Like I literally had that mind. It's like, you need to get this game. I didn't think too much of it. My brother and a couple other people were like, yo, we're into this game, like that Destiny. And I was like, oh okay, I'll buy it. Okay, whatever. I didn't think anything of it. I literally I'll just buy it. Everyone's going to play it. So let's just get it. I was still really into Titanfall, like the legit Titanfall. Dropping Titans on.
Wall running on the side.
No story, all multiplayer.
All multiplayer, but look, it was still transformative. Watch your mouth. It was still transformative.
Oh, come on. I literally just said all multiplayer, and Titanfall 2.
You took a shot. You took a shot, sir.
You literally know that story was trash. It was like voiceovers while you played multiplayer matches.
There was no story, but we're not going to talk about
it. But Titanfall was excellent. Like, everybody's like, I want to be these. I want to call my maximum. It's like, Titanfall was awesome. And 2's now, by the way, if you haven't played Titanfall 2's campaign, anybody listen to this? It's like 6 hours and it's amazing. Go play it.
Yep.
Absolutely. Continue, sir. Continue.
So the thing about Titanfall was the wall running. Like that, for me, I'm very much like a movement. I think that's one of the reasons why I may not like a Souls game is because I'm more about like fast movement.
Depends on the style you play, but
And so for me, like being able to do those fast movement, like kind of things, like really, really resonated with me. So when I got into Destiny, I was playing with my brother and I like I didn't think too much of it. I was also like I was a high school band director, and I still am, but I was at a gig where I was very, 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 very busy, like unbelievably busy, like marching band season. Like I had basically 6 days a week. 10 12 hours 12 hour days during the fall, and I didn't really have time to play a new game. I was just kind of chilling. And so then the marching band season kind of ended, and I started getting into some other games. This was like November-ish. And then a bunch of us were like, yo, there's this new raid, there's this vault of glass we're gonna try and get in tonight. And I'm like level 25, like I can't even open the door.
Can't even open the door.
It took us like 2 hours to just open the door, and I'm just there getting murdered by the Vex, and just like, oh my gosh,
stand on the plates, don't let them overtake the plate.
So for me, I didn't think much of that until I started getting up to the level of doing it, and then I played the raid, and that was the moment I fell in love with Destiny, because it wasn't the Vault of Glass so much. It was just that idea of this raid, and I had never done anything like it before.
Preach it, brother. Preach it. Preach it. Preach it. That's what I keep telling people all the time. And a lot of people, you know, I know we're going to get into our whole raid discussion soon, but a lot of people don't understand how transformative, forget Vault of Glass, just a raid in itself, in a console space. I know he's going to say, yeah, but WoW did this, and WoW, this ain't WoW.
I get it. People haven't experienced that on a console. Yes.
On a console from a shooter space and a cooperative element. So it's 6, you know, and the thing that's so unique about it, like I said, the game is not really holding your hand. You're having to figure things out as a team. Go ahead, man. I know you're about to jump in.
No, it was all good. Like that's 100% it. I don't necessarily think it's the console versus the PC space. Right. I think it was the fact that it was the first time, and I don't know another game that does this right now. It's a first-person version of it.
There we go.
Like the first-person immersion of it, like just being like caught within it, and you feel like you're there.
Yes.
Just being like, oh my gosh, like I'm here, and like all this stuff is happening, and like having to work with your team. Like I had never done anything like that
before. Same thing. I remember just for fun memory, like it was a stupid part of the raid, but I thought what was so cool when I started to fall in love with VoG was when you had to shoot the oracles, right?
Yeah.
And everybody's like, yo, shh, doom. And you're listening for the, you know what I'm saying? And then it's like, yo, who messed up? Who didn't hit the thing? Like, it just was this funny, cooperative thing, listening to chimes and paying attention to stuff like that. And again, the puzzle that you had platforming.
That's the piece I was going to say is too, like you see them take first person and put platforming in there for like, that's probably not, that's something that's not done that often. Even Doom Eternal, like the second game, they threw more platforming in the second time around, but Destiny literally like every raid, secret quest, dungeon, they all have some version of like, I can't quite see my feet and I have to trust the jump, and somehow they made that feel good.
You're right.
Like, that's an impressive piece to take. Like a lot of the game developers at Bungie are probably like slightly older than us. And they're all going to be in that age of, they grew up on platformers too. Like they grew up on the Marios that everybody played, and they're like, how do we get this in there? Whether it's the jumping puzzle we'll get to in a little bit, whether it's like the first time you like how long you're sitting at the bottom of the vault of glass waiting for people to jump down on those blocks that appear and disappear and be like, hey, and there he goes again, just falls. So good.
Can we just say, like, can we all just, like, we were talking about Mega Man earlier, there's the part before you go into the vault of glass.
Exactly. Perfect.
It's Mega Man. It's literally Mega Man. You got the teleporting blocks and stuff like that, and you got to jump her all around. It's literally Mega Man. There is no other game that like really kind of did that it was like super duper popular. So
absolutely
right there.
Yeah, man. Yeah, he nailed it. I mean, like I said, he throw in great shooting mechanics on top of that, and then boss fights and stuff like that, and then you just got this magical thing. So like, yeah, it's similar, very similar histories, me and you, because that's, I was just like you were, 2025, didn't know what else. I played it like a traditional campaign game, thinking, it's finite, and this is the end, and that's it. And they want so continue. So they grab you.
Before I did that, we got into the Destiny 1 beta, just because my brother and I were into it, and I kind of started to vibe on it a little bit because I'm like, this is pretty cool. And like when they opened up the moon, I still remember the day. It was a Saturday. There was a Saturday where they opened up the moon, and it was still during the summer. So like I still wasn't 100% vibing on the game, but Titanfall was getting old and I wanted to do something. So when I started exploring the moon underneath and like the Shrine of Oryx and all this, I'm like, oh my God, there's all this stuff. Like this is really cool. And like I really got into that. And then I got to the point where I was like the least invested Destiny player, and then I became the most, like to the point where all of my friends and stuff like that were like, nah, guess this raid ain't gonna happen. Sorry. And I was like, guys, we can finish this. Well, I gotta go to bed. And I'm like, dude, I'm finishing this. So that's when I started, and I feel bad about this. And I still gotta give like my brother and one of my really good friends, Admiral. They gave me a really hard time, and rightfully so. But we had the Atheon checkpoint, and all we needed to do was finish it. And they all went to bed because they're like, it's Friday night, I just want to go to bed. And I'm like, no, I'm getting this done whether I stay up. So at that point, that's when LFGs had started. Yeah. So that was my first experience with LFG, is like, I know the raid, I know what to do, I just need to finish it. And on my first clear, no, it's first or second clear, I got Vex Mythoclast. Oh. And then like it was after they patched it, so it wasn't like a godly weapon, but it was still good. And one day I just like literally I'm just jamming with my brother and Admiral, the people that I usually played with, and I literally just pulled it out like and then they literally was like, is that Vex? I'm like, yeah.
Oh yeah, flex.
That game was slightly broken for a minute.
Oh, that gun was broken when it first came.
So I didn't get that thing for forever, so I never got to experience its broken glory.
Me neither.
Oh yeah,
very sorry about that.
Weapon. Yep. So, but from that moment, I was hooked. I wanted to see what the new raids were. I liked the strikes. I thought that they were interesting. I was still just trying to get into the gunplay because I had forgotten how to do like first person shooting, because I got away from the Golden Eyes and like the CODs and stuff like that. I still did the Titanfall stuff, but it was a completely different feeling with how it plays, because it wasn't Halo. All the other games were not Halo inspired. So now I was getting into like a Halo inspired game. So.
Yeah. All right. So raids are your big things. We'll get to your mission stuff a little later with all your big record. But you and I match on like top raid, top expansion.
100%.
Yep. So
King.
Explain just like for you, like I'm not going to argue. And usually we go through this with a lot of people. It's like, what are your top few raids? So I know you're number one, but like just kind of go top 3 or 4 raids for all of the franchise so far. Where do you put things at this point? You've had some time with even the recent one, so if it's in the mix, you've got time now.
Gotta be King's Fall. King's Fall is the best raid in Destiny history. Period. There is no argument. It is
see, you can't come in here.
I'll even tell people,
you can't come on the last word. Be doing this.
I do like my Vault of Glass. I do like Vault of Glass, and I loved it. That was the one I fell in love with. But King's Fall was the first time, and I still argue that this is something that Destiny and Bungie needs to get behind. They need to get this, because this is what made it great.
You're gonna like this part.
The campaign, the quests, the end game, the raid. Yes. Everything was tied together. It was the big Taken war. And when you did that, it was from a story standpoint, from a lore standpoint, from a gaming standpoint, from a quest standpoint, like it was perfect.
Oh, absolutely.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
And like when you killed Oryx, when that got done, you just felt like a boss. It was amazing. Oh, yeah. It is the best raid. I know some people are like,
but I'm gonna let you rock. I'm gonna let you rock. But I'm gonna let you rock. You explaining it perfectly, and I respect you so much because you are making an amazing case.
So I'll go, and I feel like that's going to come back and haunt me.
But, it's going to haunt you.
No, you got at least one of us on your side. You're fine.
After that, Last Wish is the second best. Now, the only reason I would say Last Wish would be second is because it has all of those elements.
Yes.
But the problem is that the story, it wasn't the forefront, like the story that connects the two things, and like the curse.
Right.
And stuff like that. Like they're connected, but you don't know that they are unless if you're reading all the lore and you understand what's going on with Savathun and everything else like that. I think too, if Riven was not cheesable.
So you never did Riven legit?
Oh no, I've done Riven legit a bunch of times, but I'm saying like the thing that made Oryx stand out is that there were no shortcuts, unless if you're esoteric. If you're esoteric, then you can just.
Yeah,
but I mean, he's a robot.
Yeah,
but he's a robot.
He's a robot.
Matter.
Thank you. He's not a human being.
He's a robot. But you know, esoteric can just go solo all that stuff because I mean, he just spends all the time to do it. But if you're an above average group and you want to talk about those two things, having that shortcut cheapens that experience.
Yep.
Because
is that the fault of Last Wish? Is it the fault of Last Wish?
Vault of Glass is going to be. For me, Vault of Glass is 3 because it's like those 3 are just the upper echelon. I am not, and I'm going to say this, and this is probably going to make like some not friends. I did Wrath of the Machine on day 1. It was fine. It was fine. It was a good raid. It was fine. It was serviceable. And some people are like, "Oh my god, it was the best raid," and I'm like, it was. To me, it felt too short. I feel like it needed another.
I got you.
And that's my argument with Deepstone Crypt now. So Deepstone Crypt would probably be, because I think it's a fun raid, but it's too short. I always talk about on stream when I'm doing it after that is after you're done with the second encounter where you go versus Atrax, you should go into space, and instead of going back into the ship, there are those fallen ships off to the side, right? You should go chase Taniks off of his ship, blow up his ship, so that the only way that he can escape, like it even works from a story standpoint, right? So you blow up his ship. You go over to his catch, do all the stuff. You have like maybe another encounter and 2 over there. Blow it up. He has no choice but to go over to the Deepstone Crypt, and he's like, "I won't kill these guys." So then it makes sense. It's like, why are you just gonna slam like this into Europa? Because there's another catch. His catch is right over there. It doesn't work. So for me, like, there's a lot of not a lot, but a little bit of a missed opportunity there, and they could have made that raid even stand out even more. So
okay. So you're just to clarify, I want to get all your points in order.
He's like, I would like this. Can the court reporter read back, please?
Yeah. We definitely gonna get him. We gonna indict him.
Oh man, here it comes.
No, but all jokes aside. So the issue with Deepstone Crypt for Mano is purely length, right? So your thing is, if there was maybe one other encounter or something else cooler that was added, then it would elevate.
That plus it's not really connected to the story other than, hey, here's a line at the beginning that says this raid is connected to the campaign.
Ding, ding, Aramis, ding, ding, ding.
Aramis found the thing. And that's the reason why it's lower than Taken King, or not Taken King, King's Fall, is because, you're fighting Oryx. Like if Aramis was in there and somehow like Aramis like somehow activated Taniks or did something like my beef is like, where did Taniks come from? Whereas, like, I know he has no house, but like,
I was disgusted with.
Why did he get recruited for this job?
For this job. Like, I didn't want to see him. I didn't want to see him necessarily. I'm with you there. All your reasoning there, me in your pocket. So I guess now I want to flip back because I love your 3, right? Your 3 is a make King's Fall. I'm not going to dispute the things you said. Like you are in pocket. It is. I call it. It's a rage raid. Like it's a man's raid.
Yeah.
That's you raided that night, right? you did you did the sisters. You did Golgoroth. You know what I'm saying? War Priest. You fought this mythical being. The campaign transitioned perfectly into the actual raid, and that's one thing Bungie doesn't do enough of, right? Me and Eva, we were at the little what is it, the Bungie thing at Guardian GCX, when we spoke to some people from the raid team, I had to stress that, like, that is Destiny as best. I'm with you there. Last Wish, I'm with you there. Now, the thing about, I think you'd be hard on Riven. I think it'd be very hard.
I love Riven.
I think it'd be very difficult. That first of all, it was a mythical, we didn't even know, we knew of Amankara because of D1 items and exotics where we had to read lore. We like, okay, what is that? And they don't exist. So it was kind of a mythical thing to fight the first, who in its own right, Riven in its own right, was just as amazing if you fought it legit right?
If you do it legit, exactly.
Yeah, from a scale standpoint, it's not Oryx. Oryx is Oryx. I'm never going to say that. But it's not as far as some people would see. Like, this Rivet was a thing. You know what I'm saying? So that's that. And then you had the after effect, like, even better than what.
Yeah.
You know, you didn't have the Shattered Throne. You have the whole, you know, the cities and the recurse. And, like, this is next level kind of stuff. But anyway.
Agreed.
So I'm with you there. You got Vogue there. I'm there. Now, the question I got for you.
I knew this was coming.
You're so disrespectful to Wrath of the Machine. What is
I knew that was coming because I was like, oh no.
Yeah. What is number 4? I have to know this.
Okay, so the reason why, well, and I put Deepstone Crypt at number 4. I really like Deepstone Crypt, but I think it's still. But for me, the deciding point, because you mentioned it, Cognito. You mentioned it because you talked to the raid team, is like this, like they deviate from the story, right? The first time it happened was Wrath of the Machine. Was the first time it's like, we're fighting the Iron Lords and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, like, oh, here, by the way, there's this fallen guy that went and got the Siva. Cool. Wait, where did he come from? Well, he just snuck in there and he's got the Siva now. Go fight him. Like, to me, I'm like, nope, I'm out. Thanks for playing. Like, it's a fun raid. I love, I actually don't really like the boss fight as much. I like what's the guy that's, it's been so long since I've done it.
Vosic.
I love the Vosic fight.
I like when you throw the ball. I like that. You call it with the cable guy. You got the TVs in the back. Yeah. The cable guy. Man. I like that. Yeah, and then you got to slide the room, and then the thing. Yeah. Oh, I love that.
See,
fight.
I'm just gonna plant this seed, and Cognito's argument a lot of the time when it comes to raids is based on many factors. You've said a lot: story, bosses, like gameplay, connection, big one, loot. And this is where Cognito's argument of Wrath of the Machine comes into play. So I'm planting that. Let it marinate for a second. Thoughts?
Yeah, I'm just curious what his 4 is. That's all. I wanted because you said,
said 4 was Deepstone Crypt.
Deepstone Crypt is 4. Yeah. I don't know. After that, I'd have to give some serious thought to the next couple. I have some affinity with Crota because that's where that's less of an objective love versus a subjective. Like, that's where my channel started. Like, the first video I ever did was a weapon review in the style of, like, and this was one of the things I wrote in the notes was, do you remember when My Name is Bife did weapon reviews? No, that's because he wasn't huge then. That's before he was Lore Daddy. Like, that was when he was like essentially like Halo, and he was doing stuff. And so I made mine there. So Crota's not fair. Crota back in its day was an underleveled sir. I still liked Wrath. And let me answer something for you, Cognito, too. I'm gonna say this. I'm a musician, so the Destiny 1 music, Marty McDonald, whatever happened with him in Reddit, I'm not going into it.
Don't do that.
I'm not touching that. That's completely disparate from this entire conversation. But the music from D1 was 10 times the music we have in D2. With the exception of a couple of songs from D2. And ironically, they keep using Marty O'Donnell's music. The ending thing, once you're done with the campaign, you know, the first time we see the Black Fleet after the campaign where the Traveler explodes, that whole thing is from the music of the Spheres that Marty O'Donnell made. That's the fourth movement of that. Yes. And so that's Marty O'Donnell stuff. The theme that was the Black Fleet. But anyways, the 3 songs, number 1 song, completely underrated because everyone skips it because of the Riven fight. The Riven music slaps. It is. Yeah. It's the second phase that does it. The phase that everyone skips because they just blast through it. It's the ending part. It's like this heroic horn rock thing, very Halo-esque. But no one hears it because everyone just skips it.
Bro, the Queen's Walk is something special.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's great, too.
I got a ride for my guys now. Now, listen, Marty, arguably the GOAT. I'm never going to disrespect Marty. Like, Marty is the GOAT. We know what Destiny 1 music is. Even now, replaying some of these strikes, it hit me. I'm like, damn. You know what I'm saying? Suffix. Oh, man. And then, you know what I'm saying? There's certain things. Oh, man. Like, Marty, you know, there's certain stuff that it just can't be touched. I'm not going to say it, but I will say this. I got a ride now but I gotta shout out my guys, Sky Lewin, Mike Silvatore, because to me, when it comes to, I know the expansion was bad, but Curse of Osiris has some amazing music, bro.
Oh,
like
just
the Egyptian theme was crazy. As far as like the tracks, as far as going forward, well, I'm not gonna say that they're oh my god, like this is better than whatever, but it's a different vibe.
Yeah.
And some of the things that they have done are really standing. Like we cannot not talk about Deep Stone Crypt. And then talk
Deep
about
Stone
that
Lullaby.
spacewalk, bro. Like if the spacewalk almost don't make you teary-eyed, just like, yo, what is going on? Like this is the most beautiful thing I have ever heard. It's in the perfect spot. It's a perfect respite between two crazy encounters you just did. And then the sound with space and all, like, bro, that thing right there
amazing
is special. Yeah, like very special. I gotta shout those guys out.
That was the other the one of the other three songs. Like for me, it's the Riven Fight, Deep Stone Lullaby, and then the final Red War mission. What is that? Is it Journey? I think is what it's called.
I'd have to look up the name, but the one with Callus.
The one at the final, the whole Callus, like where it's like they get the Kronos Quartet to play then they start like the da da da, and like it starts very slowly and then it slowly builds. Let's see. There was one other moment in Destiny 2 where the music was amazing. It's in the mission when you're up in the Almighty, and you know the moment I got goosebumps in D2 in the campaign, which the campaign of D2 was arguably better than the D1 campaign.
Oh, yeah.
The moment when you're in the Almighty and you go in the pipes, and then the music just starts going, and then you look over and the sun is like 10 feet from you, and that music started there. There's like 4 moments there. Like, and I shouldn't say that the music's not as good, but there's I think a lot of that was, Salvatore. I think, because Salvatore and Marty O'Donnell worked.
That was
they worked together on the D1 stuff. So I feel like a lot of the great stuff comes from there. And obviously it's been like 7 years since the whole thing happened with Marty O'Donnell. But I think that's the other reason why I put Deep Stone Crypt up higher is that spacewalk in the Deep Stone Lullaby.
You sold me. I ain't gonna fight you.
Yeah.
You sold me. One of
the random moments too. I was like, just those moments. It's like, it's so funny that you guys say Deep Stone Lullaby, because for sure, one of the ones that I never expected was the second mission in Destiny 2's campaign of the Red War when your powers are stripped.
Oh, that song.
That's
the slow walk.
Are you doing the slow walk? Oh,
yeah. It was just something I never expected. The same with like Deep Stone Lullaby is special because the tones, the silence, the space was perfect, but just like you're stripped, and they encapsulated that like desperate. I just had the emotion of like I just had my power stripped away. You feel like you're literally dragging one limb at a time across like the ground just to try and not get killed by the Cabal stuff driving by on the streets above. That was a cool one too. But he has like, I mean, and now as you guys said, like Sepix comes back and they put the rock remix in, which I am happy about. Bro, that one slaps so bad.
I'm playing that mission. I'm like, he's got to be losing it right now.
I was like, I wonder what. I played it on stream like the first time too, and I was like, wonder what mission they're gonna or what music they're gonna have is like the rock, and I just like literally started going. I can't headbang like you can, but I was like, it's so
Doesn't it
good.
Make you more heroic than you are? Like, don't you feel like at that point? Don't you play better? Because the music comes on, like it inspires you to be badass.
Will set a tone every time.
Oh,
absolutely.
Facts.
Yep. So much so that I think after that, because we were on originally like a raid discussion with music, I'd have to give it some deep thought because I'm one of the weirdos that actually likes. I really liked the pace and the speed of. Oh my gosh, why am I forgetting the third Leviathan raid? Why am I forgetting that right now? Spire. I actually really loved Spire of Stars, but that raid gets such a bad rap because there was, you mentioned it before, the loot. What are you going to get? A fusion rifle?
Yeah.
Whoop-de-doo. Like, you're going to get armor that looks like arguably it's just a reskin of everything else.
Yeah.
I liked Leviathan, and I do have I've got the day one of Leviathan. Like a bunch of us like did that, but like, I don't know. Like, it just doesn't hit me the same way. Scourge is fun, but Scourge is kind of like, to me, like the Wrath of the Machine raid. I mean, it's funny because it's the Fallen and it's the same kind of thing. like they're both great, but they're not like my favorite. If that makes sense. So
I feel you. I'm in this weird space with. I know we're going on with the raid stuff, but I have to finish this up.
Yep.
Like I'm in this weird space with Leviathan. Like I know it's not beloved by a lot, but I think it holds a special thing for me. 2 reasons. One, I was one of the guys that was like, yo, Cabal need their shine. Like, they need a raid. And I like the whole ambiance of it. Like, I like the whole, everything is over the top, luxurious, the gold. It's just like, it's complete. Like, even when he says, grow fat from strength, like, everything about Callus is over the top. So I'm
and
like,
the music was great, too. The music was great in that original raid. Loved it.
Music was good. I think for me, why I think Leviathan has to get a little bit more credit is, let's be real. Not only was, all right, people can say, okay, it's more like an American Ninja Warrior. Do these tricks, do this, go through the gauntlet. I get it. The bass, I get it. But when you actually look at the infrastructure of that raid, and as far as the ship, when you skip things, right, and you go through the underbelly and you see how massive and all this stuff is connected, it's pretty impressive. And I do like the last fight. I mean, the boss fight. I do like the boss fight. I thought that was cool. I thought it was a nice little spoiler at the end, a little trick.
Twist, yeah.
A little twist. You know what I'm saying? I like that. Look, I get it. It's not, I don't know if it's in my top 5, but I don't think it, I think it gets it gets a bad rap sometimes, but it's not as bad as people, I think, don't give it credit for. But what do you guys think?
I completely agree. Like, to me, like, Leviathan was a great raid. It suffers from the same problem that Wrath of Machine did. And I mean, if you think about it as the first D2 raid, it's the same problem of, here's the storyline, here's Gaul. Instead of fighting Gaul in the raid,
you're right.
Hey, by the way, there's this random guy, this giant fish in the sky.
Dude?
Fish in the sky. The only way you know he exists is one adventure, and then we're going to go do a whole raid about him. And you're like,
yeah, you're right.
And that's the thing, too, is like the connection between the story is when things have gone so well, and when it disconnects, you're like, just take something away from it. And when it's done so well, and even like, I oddly like Crota's End higher than most people ever seem to, just because like I always thought thematically it fit the Hive so well.
Oh yeah,
story connection. It's honestly been so long, I forget kind of how we led into that. With besides just like Eris is here, we did a few things, and now we're going into the Hive. But just when they hit, as you said, kind of like here's like Gaul, Dominus. Shiny Cabal, you're like there's a big switch to it, so it's always weird to see that. But
the sword bearer music, when you pick that music up and you had the sword, you're like, oh my god, I'm gonna do it.
That's fine. I ain't gonna front. That music is very inspiring.
You stand on the window, I'm gonna take care of some stuff, okay? That was Crota has a special spot for me. It was one of my best friends, and it was I know people sold the thing, but we 2-man flawless the raid. And that was just like one of those moments. And we didn't worked on the encounters for a couple hours, did it, knocked it out. And we were like, that was fantastic. And it's just like, it always felt just like it fit the Hive raid. And that's why you say it's like the Fallen raids have this like feel to them where it's like you got Wrath of the Machine with Siva, you got Scourge of the Past. They've been a little shorter. They have some good, they have some bad, but it's just like Destiny overall has done like Cabal, giant opulence, like Vex, you got time. And now we had... I'm curious to see if they ever bring in said $5th race ever anything, how they make that different. Should be very cool.
I have some theories on that, which I don't know if the audience will like, but we'll see what happens.
And stuff. All that crazy fun.
I think there's going to be a Destiny 3.
I hope so.
I do too. I'm with you.
I definitely hope so.
I think Luke Smith is a liar because he's lied before.
I agree. I completely agree.
I'm sure we'll get there.
I was like, we've talked about this, whether it's Destiny 3 or something else. We keep wondering what size of team, and we'll get to this in a little bit, but like is working on Destiny 2 because what is the rest of the studio doing? Because sometimes you wonder how much is going on. So we'll put a pin in that and come back to it. But hey, we've talked about just history for like an hour.
I don't know. It's just some other stuff going on.
But no, honestly, I love it when we get off on tangents like this because time flies, and I'm like, I probably need to be the whole producer thing and get things going here. So we got Season of the Chosen. We got a whole new season. And how have you guys been? It's been approximately 72 hours, 3 or 4 days since we got it, maybe 96. But how have you guys been this week? How much have you played? What have you jumped into? top line, we'll drill down on a bunch of stuff, but just thoughts on the season so far. Season of the Hunt set a very low bar, so if you guys say it's better than that, I get it, but where do you guys feel?
Let's go, man. Where you at?
That good, huh?
Oh, wow.
Here, well, I have to
Here
give
it
some
comes.
thought.
There it comes.
Okay.
Excuse me, I'm Darth Vader, sorry.
The problem with drip feed content is that you can't really have a rating of the season until you look back on it. You know?
Absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
Season of the Hunt, I think I like the idea of the Harbinger mission. I wish the mission would have been secret, but I know what they were trying to do because they're like, we need to give a Whisper or an Outbreak style mission. We need to give it more replayability.
Mm-hmm.
And that's good. I liked it. From me, especially from my background, you guys know about the Whisper and the 0 hour stuff, and we can talk about that whenever. For me, it kind of took away from it a little bit, but then when I started playing it, it's still a really cool fight and stuff like that. For me, Season of the Chosen, I don't know if we've seen the best stuff from it yet. You know, it's only been 3 days. It's fun chasing after new weapons, and I will say this is the first time that there are weapons that I'm actively engaging with, and I want to farm this. I want to go after this. I'm not really 100% sold on the Battlegrounds campaign. One thing I wish they would do is they always have a harder version of whatever the activity is later on throughout the season. I wish it would evolve. It's here's the opening of it. You throw the balls at the batteries or whatever, and then you go chase, and then the ship, and then you kill the guy. It would be cool if to lead into the raid, maybe the next time we do it, and I don't think they're going to do this, but it would be cool if they did, is then you go into the land tank and you kind of experience what's there, and it's kind of like a little bit of a mini raid.
Nope.
But you don't know that stuff because it's the first 3 days. I think that for me, there needs to be something else tied to it. And again, it's hard because, you do a raid. I hope that there's a dungeon at the end of the season, which I feel like they kind of teased.
Yeah,
a little
we
bit.
we can cover that spoiler thought topic discussion press kit situation later.
But
we'll get there.
I'm medium on it. It's not so much different, but I think that it's hard because unless if you have something that just slaps and is amazing, it's hard to come back from Season of the Hunt. And that's the thing you kind of led into that is it's if you say it's better than Season of the Hunt, you're right. It sets a really low bar. The problem is that that's what the community expects. It's just going to be like another Season of the Chosen, or it's going to be like Season of the Hunt plus one. And so people don't feel that connection to come back. They're bored of the loop already. So, and we're still in the honeymoon period of it.
It's honeymoon. Facts.
So I think it's medium. It's good. It's fun to jump in and hunt guns, but my final answer is more Destiny is not the answer because we've done more Destiny.
Sound like a video I've watched.
Oh yeah, by a person that also starts with a D.
Yeah,
I don't know. More Destiny isn't the answer.
That's a legit, and I think all of us started in the beta. I started in the alpha. Wherever you started from, you've been playing for a while, and we are now getting to the point of franchise fatigue.
Yes.
And we're in year 7. It's cool, we're in year 7. It's for Destiny, it's and this is the point for me, and I said it last season all the time. I'm literally looking to Witch Queen because that's where maybe an Armor 3.0 is, because Joe literally said it at one point, we want armor not just to be your annual stat replacement. I'm I got my season pass armor from Hunt.
Yep.
It's 66. I'm I masterwork that. I'm literally good until Witch Queen. And I'm I don't need to touch anything until then. So that's literally 5/8 of my gear. I don't need to worry about ever. I'm going to be able to have all the functionality. Once it's masterworked, I'm truly done. So then you're weapons. There are cool weapons. First off, the exotic bow, which we'll get to in a second. Just a lot of fun. Doesn't have to be amazing. May not be the highest CPS. Just fun. And some of the weapons are cool. It's but that's kind of the thing is how many, and some of the perks honestly are legit fun to go after. As you said, there's the idea that there are some weapons that I want this role. I want to go for fill in the blank. But then when you get that, say you get it now, say you get it in a few weeks, maybe you're chasing it for longer, you get a little frustrated. How many Battlegrounds are you going to have fun running? How many convoluted, I need to get gold to put into my hammer, to put a challenger medallion in there, to smash a tribute chest, to put a charge into the hammer, to open one Umbral Engram 5 times. And how how many times are you going to want to do that? And then how many times are you going to care to? And that's where it's like it's like it is the honeymoon phase. It's fun to jump in and play and all this stuff feels kind of new, but it's like when you're like, oh, I got to go run 5 Battlegrounds to get, and I know the hammer is going to get upgraded, and we'll talk about the drip feed time gating piece there too. But again, it is one of those, like, they need, as you said, more Destiny. I mean, this is like Dato's line, so I'll say it. It's like, at this point, I don't need more Destiny. I want
What do you want?
something different. Like, I mean, that's
what would be different. I'm just asking. What
no,
would be
and that's
different?
the hard answer, and that's
Right.
no, I know.
Because it's
Believe me, I
Destiny.
fully get it.
Yeah.
It's like it is a looter shooter game, and that's why the whole idea of a Destiny 3 is something you and I had talked about. Like, at this point, the things that I want change. Like, I want armor stats to matter. I want something different there. I want the whole leveling 50 points arbitrarily a season, just like you start doing that, like, oh, I gotta go strikes, I gotta care about pinnacles, but why do I even give a damn? Because like 4 days ago, I was able to run all the lost sectors I wanted to, and now I can't. Like, just the system we're at now is just. But that's the thing. It's like I sit there and I was going back and forth between Kevin. It was on Twitter. It's like I have talked to him off and on. And it was just like, so the whole leveling grind. Well, what do you want? Well, and I saw Ascended Nomad. We had him on before. He's like, what if it's, a little bit every season? Or maybe every other season you go up. I heard another podcast say that. I'm like,
said that,
what is the magical? Is it just an expansion? You do your leveling, and then every season pass, you get new stuff to do and new guns to go for. But then do people have the incentive for the grind? Like, I don't have that answer. And that's the hard part for Bungie. And I get that. But for the veterans, it's like, if like this, Witch Queen and Lightfall are going to be kind of similar for a while till we get like a Destiny 3, that's where I wonder how long some of these people are going to hang on.
Yeah. And I want to, like, I've got some follow up, but I know Cognito, I haven't heard what you have to think about it. What do you think about the season?
Well, I got a lot to say, so you're going to say something first?
Oh, no, I mean, like, so here's the reason why we need a Destiny 3. That's the problem.
Let's go.
So what they tried to do is, and this is kind of my beef with Bungie. If I was going to have a conversation with them, I was going to say the problem that they have is that instead of trying to solve a problem, they try and get around the problem. I think the first time we saw it, and I'll make my case here, the thing that they have the issue with is that, the big problem is that only like 10% of the population of the game have done a raid. Correct. So I think that they look at those statistics from a data standpoint and they say, okay, since this is happening, we need to do this. Right. And I think it's completely the backwards way to do it. And I think that plays into the whole idea of the raids are not connected to the storyline. I think that's a solution that they came up with to, quote, get around the problem. That's just my thought of doing it. And that seems to be the thing that they do. And again, I don't have beef with it. It's just that sometimes if you just solve a problem, it will make things a million times better than getting around the problem. And that's the first time that happened was Wrath of the Machine. It's like, we need to get around the problem of, not everyone in the game has done the raid. So we want to make sure that you feel fulfilled when you do the base campaign and you do all the other stuff. So we're going to make the raid an extra thing versus the raid being the end game, the real end game here. Right. And I think the idea of the sunsetting and all those other things is getting around the production costs of having a Destiny 3 this early. That's just my take on it. The whole sunsetting thing is they're getting around the problem of people needing a grind. The drip feed content is getting around the problem of production stuff. I think that, Skill Up is another person that I watch a lot, and he actually talked about
fantastic video.
He has an amazing take, and I think I heard it, and I was like, this is perfect. I don't think we should have the 4 seasons or the 3 seasons. I think we should get a content drop, which is a massive expansion, and let it just be huge. 6 months, another thing, and then we get something else. And so those 2
someone
drops,
on this podcast said that at one point. Continue.
Because it doesn't feel like, it always feels good when there's something fresh and new to do. And I know that for my brother, he took essentially a year off from Destiny. And when he came back, he was like, dude, this is awesome. There's all these other things to do. But if you're constantly getting the game, you get that franchise fan.
Exactly. I'm with you, bro. I'm with you. Wow, this is listening to you guys. I was just going through my head. I got so much to talk about, man. It's crazy. So first thing first, Seasoned and Chosen. I didn't know what to expect. Obviously the last season was not up to snuff. And, I tempered my expectation coming in because I'm like, look, again, resources, like you're saying, Mano, going around the problem, what are we really going to get? And then based on what we know with Bungie, with the 2-season cadence, how much could they really have changed for this one, right? So I already came in like, keep your expectations in check, right? I gotta be real with y'all. I thought this season started out fantastic. And again, we're in the honeymoon phase. We're so early, right? All I'm gonna say is the reason why I'm glowing about it is twofold. One, the thing about Destiny that really draws me into a season personally is when the narrative, for the most part, is strong or if it's continued. And the thing I like that, again, I would die on this hill. Me and Tassie went at it, and then Tassie actually agreed with me at the end, was one of the missions in, I forgot what season it was, where I think it was Season of the Dawn, where you got Devil's Ruin, right? And you get Devil's Ruin, and there's a conversation between Osiris, a Saint, Shax is in it. One of the best bits of lore you get from those three. The thing that I liked about this, immediately you hit the ground running. Here's a cinema. Here's what's going on with Zavala. Here's what's going on. Kylo's coming in. Okay, cool. You get the table, the bend the knee moment, right? Boom. Okay, cool. Then I'm thinking, all right, they're done, right? No. Okay, Guardian, we're gonna go over. We got this thing for the helm. We built this station here. Crow is in, right? Okay, cool. The thing that I was cheering for was Saladin. I was like, finally, we're using Saladin. Where are these people? I'm like, yes. And then he's in it. And then there was so much lore in these conversations. Even when you do the Battleground, as an Osiris fanboy, I know that him and Saladin don't get along. Because I remember when Saladin, I think during Cross of Osiris, you go to on Iron Band and you listen to them talk. He's like, oh, yeah, Osiris, that, and, he's cursed from the city. So to hear them banter during that mission is Osiris was like, yeah, well, didn't Aphrodite leave you? I didn't know the Iron Lords did such and such. Like, it was just beautiful. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, yo, this is what I'm talking now. Because the thing about Destiny, they try to say this is living, evolving world, but they don't use the characters half the time. Yeah. the characters are just sitting there and no one's getting updated dialogue and no one. So I like to feel like now it feels like everyone is involved. Minus Ikora. That's
true.
Said a rest in peace out of Ikora. I don't know. She lost her voice since Osiris now got all the shine. She's lost her voice. I don't know what's going on with her. But I will say, so just from a lore standpoint, I'm cheesing. Like, these kind of things narratively keep me invested. It feels like a cartoon episode. Okay, what's going on? Now they got to keep it up. They got to. This is just a start, but I like that. Now, as far as the to E's point, with the seasonal grind, the activity, right, which is Battleground. Let's be honest, it's fairly simplistic, but I do like the fact that it feels like it's all out war, and they do a couple of things that's a little nuanced things that I like, which is. One thing when you start playing D1 strikes, I start to realize, D1 had a lot of width, a lot of wide open space in the strike.
Like arenas, that's
right. And I feel like D2 was more corridor-y. You don't necessarily get all these open space, like how the Cosmodrome, you feel like this big open space. It almost feels like an open world, right?
The tank fight is like the biggest piece like that.
Right. The thing I liked about Battlegrounds was they do some nuances where instead of just a corridor, you go forward. There's dudes coming up on the side. There's spawning people behind you. Yeah. And again, it's simplistic, go kill, shoot stuff, but it felt fun. And I just felt like, we were getting overwhelmed. Now, granted, there's going to have to be a larger difficulty version of this at some point because we're going to blaze through it. But I thought that was cool, you know what I'm saying? And the whole, mechanic of doing the thing, focus rolling, I love all that stuff. The weapons, we got to talk about it.
Oh, they're great.
These weapons are amazing. Yeah. These weapons are amazing. We've got not only new weapons, amazing new perks. Have y'all gotten that one with the rocket that you shoot and it stays deadness?
I've heard about it. I don't have one yet.
Bro, y'all got to get that.
Me too.
Y'all got to get it. Is hilarious. Like that rocket launcher, what is it?
The new one?
The new one. The new
one.
legendary heavy.
Yeah.
Let me look at dim.
That rocket is.
Who's faster at dim? Come on, dim, load.
I mean, you're having a stream, so I might end up getting
Code
there
Duello?
a little sooner.
Code Duello.
Code Duello.
Bro, y'all better get Duello. Like, legendary rockets are a thing right now. Like, if you got a legendary rocket with a nice Code Duello is
I got one with Ambitious Assassin, Field Prep, Impact Casing. I'm like sitting there with like 9, maybe, and sometimes 2 going back to back. Like, that's not bad with the fast reload, too.
Cognito, there's another perk on it, like the one that makes the rocket go ridiculously fast.
I have not seen what that does.
I got Impulse Amplifier with chain reaction.
Yeah.
So not only and it got the impact case. So not only is it good at direct hit, I can add clear, right? Yeah. Then you throw in, I gotta shout out Tiku, right? When I first got the ball, I'm like,
man, that's fun.
But you will laugh at me. I get it, right? So I'm shooting it like a ball. I'm like, I can't even kill ads with this. This is trash. Like I was using it completely wrong. I didn't know what I was doing. So I'm firing it.
Didn't read the user manual.
Yeah, I'm like, what is this? So my boy's like, no, y'all start the primer. Yep. And then you gotta hold down. I was like, oh, so it's like I'm setting a little match on them. And then, because I'm thinking the match is the DPS. I'm like, this is garbage. These red bars are laughing at me. So then I shoot the thing and I start to see the madness that I am creating. The explosions. Then you could create Warmind cells with this build.
Oh, dude,
It is so much fun with this damn. I've never had this much fun with bows, rockets, SMGs on console.
SMG with Frenzy. Have you got Frenzy yet? Just like
I haven't got Frenzy yet. But
so Frenzy, it's weird for the activation. I was messing with chat the other day. It's like it takes a little bit for it to kick in, like 10, maybe 15 seconds. It's a little while, but then once it's on, it's literally just on, like until you're done with the encounter. So it increases damage, handling, reload speed, or some 3 things for the whole fight. You can switch off, switch back, still there.
Wow.
I've got it on the sniper, and it actually slaps in Crucible. It's actually kind of interesting.
Okay, so that's the thing. I got it on a sniper, got it on a bow, and I wanted to test like range. What is the activation time when you're like halfway on the other side of the world? Is it like once you start firing, is that how it ticks the combat?
You know, I got to talk to my boy Castle about testing that because he's been doing that. Castle is live. He's been doing a lot of that. Like, there's a couple of perks, like where, like with the Aeon perks, if you're across the map, they'll activate. And so that might be something he can test, and I can like add him and just be like, yo. But that's the question: is like, when does this actually start? Because there are times like where I'm getting like 150 hit marker with a sniper. Because I'm deep in the battle and I just turn to it and then I just hit the body and they're toast. And so, it's not as good as a headshot, of course, but if you get I've got a quick draw frenzy roll on the sniper and it slaps in Crucible. If you can hit your shots, it's really good. But
somebody better than me could have probably used my slide shot frenzy much better than I could on that far future sniper rifle. But me,
far future. Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, I mean, look, it's early. It's honeymoon phase. I get it. But man, I have put in tons of hours. Like, I am shocked at how much I'm playing. I'm like, yo, I'm just back in the flow. I'm addicted. The loot chase is there. Yeah. Things are going forward. And now it's just a matter of how they continue the story forward for me. You know, how redundant will the next Battleground. But I will say this, E. I like the Europa one. I like the contrast between the Europa one and the other one. And obviously they're gonna have those phase mechanics and stuff like that where they're not gonna let us melt this boss all the way. Those days are over. The days,
unless if you have the chest piece for the Titan.
Oh my god!
So, tell me about this.
I'm like glad that I've seen Evan F. Like I haven't done the testing, but they are literally insta killing basically everything. Gambit bosses in like instant. Battleground bosses, 3 guys. No, it's just the new exotic takes Thunder Crash. And magnifies it by I don't know how much, but literally they took 5 on Atrax, took him down to his last stand. Last guy killed him. Yeah, and they all just ran that exotic.
And they're getting past, those, what are they called? Like the mechanics of the damage gates. They're getting past that. How? Like they're going so because. Fast. They're going so fast. What they'll do is they'll stack it up. I'll maybe see if I can tweet at you, Cognito. It's like Glad putting it up there. And because all 4 of them have it, it's like, okay, guys, 3, 2, 1, go. And because they spend enough time in the air, not only do they get an overshield, but they also get like a little bit more, like a ton more damage. It's essential. Like someone said it on, it's Celestial Fist Hawk.
Yeah, it is. And some people say it's more damage than Celestial.
Yeah.
So it's so powerful. It's breaking the damage gate.
Yep.
Is what you're saying.
Yeah, you just kill it. They insta kill. Like they like a Gambit boss, like instantly gone.
I'll tweet it. You give me just a second.
Every boss I've seen. Atrax was like, they did 5, they found the other guy. It's like, all right, let's see. And they had 1 left. Done.
Well, this is gonna get y'all finally nerfed.
Oh, dude,
100%. What sucks though is Thunder Crash has been so bad for so long.
I know, for so long.
And then they're like, oh, here's this exotic, and be like, oh, we made it too strong. And I'm like, don't take it away. Literally, Tassie, I saw Tassie tonight was like, glad I swear to God, if you get this nerfed. And I'm like, that's what sucks about it is.
Yeah, that's gonna be a next week like kind of nerf.
Yeah,
that's a patch note nerf. That ain't they ain't waiting for that. Yeah. You know, Daddy Bungie do not like us melting things so fast. You know, we don't like that.
Yeah,
I didn't know about this.
I should be fair, Cognito, because like I think I need to kind of just follow up on what I said. I don't think that this season's going to be bad. I just don't know yet. Like,
yeah, we know it's early.
I feel like that was the thing about Season of the Dawn for me. At first, for me, Season of the Dawn didn't really excite me. And then I looked back on it and I'm like, dang, that was a really good season.
I miss Sundial. I miss a lot of that stuff.
It was the best season out of Shadowkeep by far. It's been the best, at least as we can tell. Like, so I don't want to make it seem like I'm selling this season short. It's just that and I think that's partially because the drip fed content is like you don't really know until you get to the day before the next expansion and you look back and you're like, you know what? This was a great season. And I think the Helm, you're right. Like, I love Lord Saladin as a character, and I wish he would get more into the game. I think that's one of the other things that's nice about the Helm. Instead of having them to have to do the lines and put it into the tower, all of that narrative stuff can happen in the Helm. And it feels good.
You know what? Not to cut you, I hate to cut you because you're on fire. You're on fire, bro. It felt like Avengers to me. I felt like I was at the Avengers table. Zavala popped in, Crow's back there. It's like it's so cool, and I think the Helm has potential. I was like, yo, I like this. And then the other thing that they did, which I'm a big fan, again, how you win COG over is lore continuity, narrative, and voice acting, right? Guess what? I went over to Osiris and guess who had things to say? I was like, oh, you talk now. Okay. Let's see what you got to say. And he's going on. I'm like, okay, cool. Sat there, just listened to Crow. You know, he's like, yeah, our core is not ready. Doesn't seem to be reluctant to come over. I was like, ooh, these are the things that make it feel like a living game. When they have these, again, people say, oh, this is overrated. I love this stuff. I think this is what makes it now a Saturday morning cartoon. This is you tune in next week when what such and such is going to happen. Like if they have the potential, the key is, will they continue to do it? You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
They have the potential to do it. And I think the Helm sets that up perfect. Now, I got to agree with E on one thing though, on the, my only nitpick that I like the idea of focus umbrals and all that. I feel it's too complicated. It's too many steps for no reason. All right, so you got to do the hammer, then you get the charge, and then it is. Then you got to go there, and then why do I have to do this extra step? You got the umbral, and then you got the prismatic recaster. It feels like there's too many extra steps. Like this should be one, and then even the at the helm, the war table reputation, the war table reputation. It's not clear. That you have to look at the seasonal challenge thing. Nope. Because I'm like, why can't I click? I want to unlock. Why can't? And I'm like, it would just give me a U. I wanted to beef with the UI.
Hard on the time gate. It hurts when I sat there and I was on stream literally the first day. I'm like, all right, I'm making a video. Like, what am I doing? Well, first one was leveling. Okay, second day, what am I looking over? The helm. Because I was like, this is a mess to a point of like, okay, where do you start? And people are like, I put out a video over it. I did not know it was from the seasonal challenges. I'm like, most people won't because it is not told at all.
Here's the other. You're absolutely right, E. It's not explained well. It's confusing for no reason. And then because it's in the thing that you need to get that is in a separate area completely. the thing that drives me nuts is the now at the focusing recaster thing, right?
Mhm.
You know how they got the tiers? They'd be like, okay, you got to have 500 sniper kills to do before you can unlock this part here.
Right.
Why can't I track that outside of the helm? Why do I have to go to the helm to know where I'm at progress-wise? Like, that is a problem. Like, the UI this season is a little
I mean, there
weird.
was some UI cleanup, which was
Cleanup.
good.
Yeah.
But I back you up, Cognito, because I think it's another one of those that kind of is like if I had a topic sentence, it's like Bungie goes around the problem. Because here's what's going to happen, I think, is they're setting it up so the Umbral Recaster and the Prismatic Recaster and the Umbral Engram and all that other stuff, that's going to be there every season this year. So the thing that's going to change is the thing that gets you there, the seasonal challenges and then all that other stuff at the helm. That's why they designed it that way. And yeah, it's disparate. It doesn't, there's a disconnect there because what they're going to do is they're going to rip out the hammer. They're going to give us something different next season. It's going to be the knife of the knife of lawn mowing. I don't know what it is. The knife of lawn mowing.
Gilded knife of grass cutting.
Exactly. And there'll be like the 7 things and you'll unlock them and you'll do, and then you go and then there's the new things it's another one of those. Instead of creating a single thread, which makes sense, they're gonna again, it's a production cost thing. But that I feel like that's the reason why. And you're 100% on the money there, I
feel.
Yeah, and
one last point, Eda. I'll give it to you. Last point, and then the thing is, I know the artifact gets a lot of crap sometimes. I gotta be honest, y'all. Like,
it's a good one.
I kind of like that. You know, hey, I'm busting out bows. I got my bow overload. I got sniper anti-barrier.
Getting a little better.
Like, yo, I could throw that on. Yo, bro, let me tell you right now.
Throw that on like Borealis.
Oh, let me tell you what I'm doing. It's like, I'm not a sniper at all. Like, when sniper quests come up, I'll be honest with y'all, I don't do them. Like, when the door was like, go in the cruise, I'm not doing that, fam. I'm not a sniper. I'm not good. That's not what Cognito does. The best sniper you're going to get from me was Whisper the Worm, and I dreaded doing that. Remember that? Like, I'm not a sniper guy. I will say this. With sniper on anti-barrier, I bust out that Cloud Strike, fam.
Yeah.
Yo.
Fun.
I think I have my favorite. I think that is my favorite sniper in the game. Like, with this perk, and also bow with have y'all used Tikos with Overload?
No, of course.
Have you seen the madness this thing is doing?
Yeah.
It's fun.
That was like the first thing I unlocked was that straight away.
Yes. It's crazy. And then, like, you know, is it forced incentive to play with something? Yes. But let's be real. As Destiny players, we stick in our rut of what is the most effective and efficient. And we will not play these other archetypes that we're like, oh, it's not good. But the reality, they are good.
Oh,
like,
you want to know what's going to make me play other archetypes, though? Make fun weapons like Tiku's Divination, and you're going to get me to go play with other stuff.
You being hard. Come on, E. You being hard. They made a lot of good weapons, a lot of good exotics, man, lately. They've been on fire lately. Come on.
I actually, like, for me, I always like it when there's like a new thing. Like, I haven't messed around with duality enough, but if you think about like symmetry and some of those other ones, like I like symmetry. Symmetry's like could actually be fire in the next one. But yeah, you're right about Tiku. It's a lot of fun.
Yo, Tiku, I haven't used a bow this much in a minute, man. Great, a unique concept. It's like, again, like you're setting something on fire, you're throwing a little match, and then
you use it different than anything else. You got the hip, the ADS, the hip, the ADS, the tag, the explosion. Like, it's a fun little loop back and forth, and it's a little dance you do with the weapon. That's really, really fun to do. Like in PvP, even the tag is like 9 damage, and you're like, not that much. But if you hit the head, you get 137 twice, and just boom. And I'm like, oh, that's fun.
Yep.
I didn't get a lot of them, but I got a few, and I'm like, these feel good.
Feel good, man. Listen, like look, there's still a lot of problems. We know there's a lot of resource thing going on. Like Mano said, they're going around a lot of things still. But I gotta admit, this season so far is fun to me. Fun. Now, granted, it's early. Super
like we're in week 1, like 0.5 right now.
But generally, with the way the seasons have gone, I kind of like. Let's be real. When we saw Wrathborn Hunts, you did the first round. You were like, we know what type of season this is. If this is the content,
that was. I mean, and that's the thing too is. Yeah, you got to see it early, and we know we get 2 more Battlegrounds. One's going to be on Cosmodrome. One, I'm pretty sure, is going to be. I think I know where that one's going to end up. We'll have to see. I think it's going to be buried in that Nessus cave, but
Right.
yeah. But yeah, it's like it's more than hunts, which is a low bar. It's matchmade. It's already better there because you're doing stuff with other people. You get the chance to like, and as you said, like so far the 2 have a different feel, and I hope they keep that going. Because when you're in the Europa one at the end, I've never seen so many phalanx in one area in my entire life.
There you go. You're back, I think.
Sorry, did I disconnect?
No, it's not your fault. You didn't disconnect.
I think it just. Yeah, I just reloading real quick because I don't know if the stream died or what, but
yeah, it says network error. It says reconnect. Okay.
Yeah, it's attempting to reconnect, so we'll come back. Well, as it's trying to reconnect, apparently.
Continue.
Basically for me, it's just the idea that I will be curious how they hopefully make the Battlegrounds have some difference, because you guys did say it, like the Nessus one, you're climbing up the hill, Europa, you're going down. I wonder how it's going to feel like the cleansing battleground for Cosmodrome. It's like, are you going to be going through the moth yards to wherever that goes? I forget where it is. Like, I wonder how it is going to progress those things.
And I got to throw a little beef at the Destiny 2 designers here, because like, all I'm gonna say is like they set up and they talked about, hey, we're gonna bring back the Cosmodrome and like we're gonna start adding pieces to it, and then they actually talked this week about we didn't set your expectations right. And I'm like, guys, you can't do that. You cannot do that. You have to open that area up. Just open it up. Open the door. It's already made. Like, just put it in there and put it in the Cosmodrome, because I think that's my beef there, is like you literally said we're going to add more stuff to the Cosmodrome, and now they actually like, we're not going to add anything else to the Cosmodrome. Like, all they got to do is open up that back area of the moth is it the moth yards or the rail yard or whatever it is in the Cosmodrome. It's like the southern part of it. Like, just open that up, and that should be an expectation. Like, because
I agree. I was very disappointed when I read that. I mean, to me, I felt, let's be honest, it felt dishonest a little bit. It's just like, that's not what was promised initially. You know what I mean? And the other thing is where it really feels bad, you're absolutely right, man, is that the purpose they said of the vault was space, and things were getting too big, and now, but then we could bring this old stuff back and we could have it reimagined. But now you're not necessarily followed through with that. So it's just it doesn't feel good. It doesn't.
I think that's showing more bandwidth than anything.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like, it's the idea of like, that's why we keep coming back, and we've said it multiple like episodes, like, how much of the studio, we know they lost Activision, we know we lost multiple studios, we get that, I understand. But again, how much of the internal piece of Bungie, how much has been shaved off to focus on D2 while whatever else, D3, Matter.
Correct.
How divided are they? Because like, I was literally playing Strikes today, just Vanguard Strikes, bugged out multiple times, couldn't even get through a door, couldn't finish another one. I could not throw the ball in the Corrupted on the final platform. I could not. I hit her 7 times with the ball. Shield never went down. Over and over and over and over, and just bugged. And then I was with, I don't know if the other 2 idiots in the back were brand new or what. One kept trying to make a jump and falling down, and I swear his buddy was waiting on him to res him. So he's like jumping, I see him fall. I'm like, oh, he resed. Jump, fall, res. I'm like, either he's busted, she's busted. I had to cut out of that one. I was just trying to finish my 3rd Vanguard strike just to pick up a pinnacle.
Just to get
couldn't finish it.
Damn.
Couldn't finish it.
I'm seeing some little warts too. I've got some weird stuff because Cognito's all about his warlock fashion. So what happens is I was ready to I had like an outfit. I'm wasting upgrade modules just to make sure every subclass has the good outfit to match with the good shader. Anyway, so I'm looking for a specific ornament. Remember the Dawning set? And the Warlock's Dawning is fire. And I'm like, yo, where is it? And I could not find it. And the rest of the set is there. Arms, leg, but the helmet. I'm like, why is the helmet missing? Then I looked at my No Time to Explain ornament, the frosty one. I said, all right, I'm going to take it off for a little bit. I took it off. Why is it just gone now forever? It's gone. I'm like, so it's these little warts, and then you got the bug, and then obviously we just heard about, what is it? Fallen Saber now is, I didn't even get a chance to try it.
No, Fallen Saber was never in the game.
Oh, okay. I thought
that's another thing they didn't tell us. They knew it was bugged. And they're like, it took people like a couple days to be like, yeah, it's bugged. It was people were getting locked out of doors. Sounds like some of the stuff that I'm facing right now, but they didn't even turn it on.
Oh, okay.
And it's literally on the calendar, like, here it comes. There was no warning, like, hey, it's not whatever.
Right.
It's literally just not there. Sorry for everybody who is in stream, by the way, or if this ever makes it out there, because I think we're disconnected right now. Internet's having issues, but we will get out there on stream later, or on video and stuff later on.
No doubt.
No, and I agree with you, man. Like, I would rather them be honest and be like, yo, it's because of COVID. We'll push it back another. Like, I feel like they should fulfill that promise that they say and like be like, yo, we're going to expand the Cosmodrome and stuff. And I think to kind of not wrap it, but just kind of like put this pin out there for me. I feel like y'all seen The Dark Knight, right? So it's that point. It's that part where the Joker's like talking to Batman and he's like, dude, I know the truth. Like everyone looks back at D1 with these weird rose colored glasses. Like, you know, people want to go back to the way things were. And it's like, I know the truth. We're never going back there. Like it's never going to happen. Like we're never going to get back. And I think that is one of the mishaps of the game is I feel like people keep wanting to go back to this magical time of like, this is when everything was great. Because to be honest with you, the only time I would say that Destiny was at its peak, like the best Destiny was Taken King.
Yes.
Followed by maybe the launch of Rise of Iron. Which was great, and I love the whole narrative of the Iron Lords and Saladin. Oh, love it.
Oh yeah, love it.
But I don't think we're ever going to get back to that if we keep pulling that stuff back. Like I think we need to do. That's the new thing is like we need to do something, and we need to commit on it. And I pray that. And it's like when Luke Smith says, you know, why do you want a Destiny 3? I want a Destiny 3 because it will automatically sunset all your stuff. It will give you a whole new campaign. It will give you all these other things that you're trying to create synthetically by sunsetting. Because that's what it is. You're essentially synthetically sunsetting or creating a new game. So I'm hoping that we'll have Destiny 3 and I think that the lore or the notes back in Destiny 1 is that there should have been the old swamp of old Chicago. And have that be the public space. And then the whole thing with the winter, because the truth is we're really not engaging with the Black Fleet at all. It's here, but I hope
not really,
that it's not really, and I don't feel like they can really connect us with that whole story if they don't come out with a Destiny 3. If they don't come out with a Destiny 3 and they just do an expansion, it's like, okay, I guess the Black Fleet's coming out now. I don't feel like they can really do it unless if they have a full-fledged, full new game. Because we've got to have that moment of, and I'm hoping that something like this happens, like where we lose our light again, and the only thing that we have is the darkness. And then we kind of have to like fight back to get to the light. That would be a compelling story.
That would be fire, yeah.
Yeah. And then that I feel like that's what we need, but there's too much. I think you said is and like what I said was going around the problem. So, this season has been fun so far. I'm looking forward to playing it after we're done. Like I got at least my Friday and Saturday. I got a 4-day weekend. So
nice.
So I'm gonna play a lot and make some content and stuff like that. So
yeah, I mean, like I said, I agree with pretty much everything you guys have been saying. You know, it's I firmly believe there's gonna be a D3 at some point. I think everything right now is just stopgap. Who knows if it's like a live team situation with D2 cut. Like we don't know what the current bandwidth is actually working on the game versus working on the new IP versus working on potentially a D3 or whatever. So, you know, we got to see. Like I said, early 1 week, but I do love the start. I love the start.
Yeah.
I love the infusion of the weapons. I love, you know, everything that's been included from the chase. So I've been good. I've been good so far. We're just going to see how it continues. You know what I'm saying? And as long as I keep getting that narrative beat, then I will continue to be kind of invested. So that's where I'm at with it right now.
I mean, we said that before. I think when we were talking about, like, are we going to see the pyramid ships? Are we going to see this other race? And we're like, for expansion, we said we hope not. Or at least I know we've said that before, is because to introduce a new race, you have to do them justice. And it's like at that point, it has to be substantial changes, new whole bunch of stuff, not just like take some planets away, here's a planet. And if that's all we're getting is that exchange now, Like, what's coming? Okay, so we're
Yeah.
gonna get something with Witch Queen where we've got some. Who knows what it's gonna be for her? What's gonna leave then?
Right.
How much more is gonna leave this game that you started playing this thing with when you finally get to the point where, like, hey, new light player, you're 4 years into the game. You can't play the old stuff, and that's the thing. Like, I haven't played Final Fantasy 14, but the fact that I know it started brutal. They literally turned it off, rebuilt it, started back again, and it was called like Reborn or something. They rebuilt the game.
Right.
And you get to that point where it's like people now, like, you have, I swear, hundreds of hours of game in Final Fantasy 14 before you get to the current stuff, but they still get to experience it all. There is no more Red War. There is no more Curse of Osiris. There's nothing to let you experience what's already been there. Just like, hey, here's Shahan. Okay, we have Kaito right now. Like, you just are thrown in so quickly, and it's something as big as the pyramid ships. As you said, they like kind of phased out some of the solar system, and you're like, all right, what's happening with that? Like, and it's like, that was the big ending to a season, and okay, we are going to go take care of the darkness over here where we can still get to it. But that other stuff, we're not going to talk about that for like a year, except Pro is going to whistle. That's it.
He's so bad.
And I feel like, you said it, Cognito, and it's one of the lines is we want to create a single evolving world. I feel like the only way to truly do that is to make a third not a third expansion, like a Destiny 3. Because I feel like a lot of people are probably gun shy of it because here's my thing about the launch of Destiny 2. So many people are like, I don't want a relaunch of a game. I think that they're looking at it the wrong way. And the reason why is because the campaign of D2 was amazing. It was fantastic. It was the way it should have been.
Yes.
The problem was we had all these awesome systems from Destiny 1, and we as a community assumed that those systems would come in and fill in the end game of Destiny 2. And that was the problem. Now, here's the thing. If we can have a Destiny 3 and they take all the systems that they've built and all the things, and we have the Grandmasters and we have all these other things that we expect as a community, it will work. It will not only work, it will absolutely just be amazing.
Right.
But they can't do the thing that they did in D2 where they're like, we're going to simplify everything. It's this basic story. Here's the campaign. And then here's the two little things, and then we're done. And that's it. Like, it cannot be that. That's what the community, I think, and a lot of people who say, I don't want a Destiny 3. Yes, you do. Everyone it's true, because a lot of people are like, I don't want a Destiny 3. Why would I want to lose all my guns? Why do you want to use the same guns for 4 years? Right. Because they're basically, what's the line? Most people don't actually know what's good for them. People don't, it's that, it's that thing.
Yeah, I agree.
So anyway.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. Me and Eve said this, ad nauseum at times, because at the end of the day, the player, like you said, sometimes doesn't realize what they actually need, doesn't know what they want. But the main thing to me is, there's a lot of the business aspect that's still involved that I feel is holding back the creative aspect, the design aspect. And when you're still having to design for a base Xbox One and a base PS4.
That was the other thing.
Right?
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Right? At the end of the day, there is constraints and limitation to what you can do, because at the end of the day, this game still has to be played at the lowest common denominator.
Yep.
Right? 900p on 30 frames per second on the old, it's the thing. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's like, at the end of the day, it's like, to me, that this is where the business sometimes gets in the way, and the resources, the lack of resources gets in the way. And this is where D3 now, you do a hard cut, and it's like, okay, next gen only PC, right? Fresh new engine, here we go. And like you said, remember the start of D2's campaign, was amazing, because they were implementing things, classic Bungie stuff like that. But now just retain the things that we've liked in D2, the things that we know that worked. You know what I'm saying? And then add on these new systems, and then maybe you could do those expansive rumors that we heard. Remember the PvE versus VP zone, all these rumors that we had heard that were cooking up. And now you have maybe a story where light, you've completely lost it. You're in the dark. You could really expound, and without limitation is pretty much what I'm trying to get at. And I think that's the problem right now, because to me, like you said, Mano, this is the holding on. Oh, we're going to sunset. Oh, we're going to, now we're gonna do crossplay. Like they're still holding on. They're not ready yet. That to me, that's
Yep.
what it was like. They're not ready. We're gonna put a little band-aid here. We're gonna drip feed you along. You know what I'm saying? And then when we are eventually ready, I do agree it is going to happen. But it just got pushed back. That's the vibe I got.
And I feel like that too. You know, for me, it's one of those things where you know, from just a narrative standpoint, it just makes sense. And it just makes sense to like just have like the Black Fleet be the thing. Because I don't feel like, because whatever's going to happen with Savathûn is going to happen, but we can't just have 1 year of the pyramids and be done with Destiny.
Yeah,
I don't
know.
I don't think that Destiny 2 can end with Lightfall or whatever they're going to come with. It just can't.
I hope not.
My question, like, if you think about like a production value and you talk about investment from a production side of things, you know, you're right, is like you're building all these systems for crossplay. Why are you going to build a crossplay system for a game of content that's only going to be for another year?
See, my wonder about that crossplay system, as some people wonder, it's like, how many people are working on Destiny 2? Is this crossplay system technology for them to use somewhere else? Is it Destiny 3? Is it Matter? Is this being built as a system functionality piece for okay, we understand how crossplay works. We have the servers, the setup, the code, whatever it may be. And is Destiny 2 like the tool to get it out, to get it built? It'd be weird. And I hope I'm with you. It's like, if Savathûn somehow comes, somehow there's a connection between her, the pyramid ships, whatever. And then all of a sudden we turn around Lightfall, as you said, like, Lightfall, how else can you read that theoretically besides like Lightfall? Traveler goes bad, Traveler goes in hiding, we lose our light, we lose our touch with whatever. Maybe our ghost is still with us, but our ghost is with the darkness, so we're kind of there.
Right.
Like, how can you go 1 year and just cut? Like, so I'm with you. It's like, it's got to go bigger. And that's why I was like, when I look at this point, I'm looking to Witch Queen. I'm looking. These seasons right now I'm along for the story journey. The guns are going to be the gameplay is going to be kind of good. But I mean, if you look at the calendar, I said this last week, and I kind of gave it a harsh tone, but week 1, 2 Battlegrounds. Week 2, Battleground. Week 3, Battleground. Week 7 or 8, I forget the math, Strike. Week like 12, Guardian games. And you go like 1, 2, 3, 7, 12, done. Like, there's a lot of space. Now, we know there's one other thing. If you look at the press kit, we'll talk about that towards the end. But that's still one. So again, and this kind of takes me back to when it comes to the helm. And this is kind of coming back into how things are. When you look at the helm and you're like, cool, so here's all these things I can upgrade. There's one on the bottom left. There's 2 down there. One, every time you smash the hammer, it costs more, which I don't know how much it's going to cost yet. Even if it's double, it costs more, but you get 2 charges. So it's like, even if it's 28 for 2, your time spent in Battlegrounds now is half as much. But how long is it going to take me to get there? I went capacity first. I went the other direction.
Yeah,
so even if I go this way, so if I go 1, 2, 3, 4, then maybe I don't need max capacity. Then I head back this way, and then I go down. That's like 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a month away before I can even touch that. I can't just like, I can't put the time in to grind it out. It's just a forced time gain of even like. And this is like, by the time I get the hammer completely unlocked, the season's going to be half over, if not more.
Yeah,
and then
that part. I'm sorry, don't get
no,
it.
and and that like, I sat there and I went through that math. I'm like, it just did not leave a good taste in my mouth, just for how they force you to go week after week after week after week after week after week. Like,
I didn't like at all. That part, I gotta agree with you. That's a big negative, because I'm like, okay, once I figured out this convoluted mess of, the requirements are in this challenge section that's completely not next to, not the UI doesn't show me right next to the war table, but okay, fine. Then I'm like, wait a minute, there's only like 3 or 4 of those and I did them already. And where's the rest? So I can advance this
week
thing.
2, week 3, week 4, like.
And I was like, you trying to hold me now. Now you holding me hostage.
Yeah, holding me hostage. I like that. That's great.
That's actually a kind of a scary way to put it.
Well, like a gaming hostage, because I mean, they're so afraid of people going and play. Like, it's one of those things that I feel like they have to like sometimes I feel like people who look at data because like very analytical. I'm not an analytical person. I'm more of like a big picture thing. But there's some people who are super into the data and then they look at the data points. The problem is that data can be convoluted into almost thinking anything. So if they're like, oh, our player base needs to stay at this number, well, let's look at the data and see what people are actually doing. So let's double down on that. The thing is that it's like Ouroboros or the snake eating its own tail. Like it's a self-fulfilling prophecy is like, if you double down on these things, people are going to spend more time playing these things.
Right.
And so that's one of the things is like people, they're not like super invested in trials. I still don't feel like, even though they've got like the new armor and stuff like that, because the PvP, we should talk about the PvP community at some point too, because that's a big sticking point.
Yep.
But they're like, well, we see most people are playing strikes and not a ton of people are playing Gambit, so we're not going to do anything for Gambit. And Gambit is basically the same thing we got 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, dude, you can't, because I actually love Gambit.
I actually like Gambit too.
Yeah, but the problem is like, where's the new maps? Like, where's the new maps? Where's the new? Like, why don't we have a map on Europa? Same thing with PvP. And I'm gonna throw a little shade because like they're so good at what they do. I'll throw a little shade. I know people who can design a map for a game. We used to do it in Halo, right? I didn't play a lot of Halo, but I even know you used to be able to design maps and stuff for it. There are people who could design those maps. Like we could have a community map designer or whatever. Like there are people who would gladly, people who love Gambit that would design it. And I don't feel like it would be that.
I agree.
Resource intensive, you know?
Intensive. No, I agree. And again, listen, I'm not a person that, the way I judge a person is I don't listen to what someone says. I look at what you do. You know what I'm saying? And for me, since they have been, so I'll say this ad nauseum, they are telling us with their actions, they are not capable. This company is too competent to not know that we are upset about lack of a map and they are too competent. I am never going to disrespect them in that way because I know they know. It comes down to, okay, we got this little bucket of water here, and here are all these fires.
Yeah.
What are we going to address now this week?
That's true.
And they splash it and that's all this is. Because again, the only thing they did say that I took their word from, and as I say it again, you're never going to get an expansion like Forsaken again.
No.
It hit me. I was like, damn, we can't get that ever?
Yeah.
We never going to get that? You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, and E, now this is where I come back to E, and I'm full circle with E because I know E's frustrated. And this is where I'm back with him now. Is that again? You look at the battleground. You look at that map. You look at other than the battleground stuff, you know, which is less. It's fun. It's mindless. It's shooting. I enjoy it.
12 weeks of battlegrounds. Everybody's gonna run to the end of the rope, but you're like. Week 4, week 5, cool. I've seen them. I get it. I've smashed a few hammers. I'm checking out.
Right.
Like
again, so it comes down to this is the drip feed. This is the hostage situation. We don't got nothing. Just hold them off. All right. Well, what about you know what I'm saying? Even the war table. I knew that's what I knew it was bad because
that hurt.
Even Europa, we did Homeboy Varix, right? And we go, remember his table, you could dig down from the very beginning. Remember with Europa?
Yep.
You could do this Explorer 1. If you kept going and you could do it. I'm like, why is this a 3 to 4 week thing? And I got to come back next week and I want to do this. Like, why can't I do this? So that part really expounded upon. I'm like, wow, they're trying to hold us back because they know we are going to blaze through this in no time. And this is artificial. This is an artificial investment. That's just what it is.
Well, and this is kind of connected to that. And I think that that's a problem that they need to address. I know that drip feed content is where they live, but at the same time, like it's one of the things that upsets me as a content creator. And like sometimes like when you're trying to be in front of stuff, everything is data mined. So like they have everything set up to drip feed. Like they've got the, talking about a bucket of water as in terms of like putting out like fires. But if you think of it like a drip, like here's the water for the season and they put it in, there's someone like who is going to find out all those files because it's on PC. Facts. And there's no surprises anymore. because no matter what, you can go onto Reddit
Oh,
and
yeah.
Oh, it's there.
And so the drip feed content and the anticipation and stuff that we build, and you can't stop people from doing that. Like if you're going to do drip feed content, if you put all the stuff and all the code in the game, they're going to find out. There's a reason we know about Hawkmoon like months in advance. There's a reason we already know, and I don't want to spoil it for we already know what's coming. We are the only things that we don't know is the stuff that they don't put in the game. And I feel like they need to have like a weekly. I know that it's resource intensive, but if they don't put the stuff into the game until they update it and like then you actually like see it,
Right.
That would be amazing because then we wouldn't have all this stuff spoiled because every person's going to click on that thing, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Every person's going to be like, oh, look, they data mined it.
Yeah.
You know, that's why everyone knew what was going to happen with The Crow like months in advance is because they leaked it like 2 months ago. And it's like, well, there's the season. Bye. So.
And that stuff's I always wonder is like, PC is a problem now because they didn't have to worry about that on console. But console, you have like, certification for every patch that they do. And if they have to do like certification every week for like updated stuff for a little while, then that gets to be, I don't know what that does for them on the business side or what the implications are for another code. Like, let's certify all this stuff. And then we got a little hot fix. Cool. Throw that out there for a fix. Or this one, this. But the big stuff, we got to make sure it's all square. Send it as one, and unfortunately, PC gets it too, and that's PC is when all this stuff started, and there's only so much they can do.
There's only so much.
But that's the piece why, like when, as you said, they hold you prisoner to like every week. I got now. Granted, the seasonal challenges, I swear, it's like are going to get a bad vibe in my head because in theory, it's like Outriders demo. It's going to come out in 2 weeks, and I'm like, sweet, I'm pumped. I'm really excited. I'm going to dive hell. Like I'm going into that one because all your progress is going to carry forward, so I can play every character. You have like all that stuff. So I'm going to play that for a while. Maybe I take a couple weeks off. I'm just like full on Outriders, make all the content I can. There's going to be a gap before it comes out in April. Cool. Whenever I come back on week 5, I can go back through those weeks of challenges. But I also can't pre-work it right now. I can't be like, I've got time right now. I can't grind the crap out of it for the next week, take a break, prep for Outriders, do that. I have to do it on their schedule. I can't make it here's your season. No, it's like here's a little bit. And I said it before. It's like reading a book, 1 page. It's like you used to get like 1 page in the mail, shows up in your mailbox every day. Oh, cool, I got this one. You're gonna finish the book in a year, and you can't go faster no matter what you do about it.
Yeah.
And it's like the story, the drip feed, the upgrades, the drip. When I looked at the table, I think the war table hit me the hardest, just the hammer enhancements. That one.
Yeah, that did.
Hard.
That did.
And I think we as a culture too, like remember, you talked about this Cognito, like check out next Saturday morning, we're going to have the next episode. And we don't live in that age anymore. Facts. And they're trying to live in that age. Come this week, this is the next episode. And no one does that. Everyone gets the Mandalorian. You wait until the end of the only difference would be WandaVision. Like I've been checking out WandaVision every week.
I heard it's amazing. I gotta get to it.
It is legit. Yeah. Like it's really good. And like I would say once you hit like episode 4 and 5, you're like, dude,
where is this going? Right?
Yeah.
Okay. I haven't watched today's, but so far it's like the first couple, because I had friends who were like, what is happening? They didn't make it through like the first. I was like, come on, it's the MCU. Just like little faith. And then like you're like, okay, all right,
paid off.
Okay. All right, now I'm like literally just like hold on by the only thread at the end of the episode. I'm like, come on, I want to know what's behind the curtain. And like, that's cool because they're building stuff and telling a story.
Yeah.
This one, typically the problem with like Destiny, especially in the seasons, how much story do we actually get throughout the season?
Right.
We get it at the beginning and we usually get like a wrap up in the end and maybe like one little bit in the middle, but it's not, the story is typically not tied. And that's why I think that middle 6 week, 7 week where it's at for the strike may have story implications. But between now and then, why are you like forcing us to be like on that cadence? Be like, here's another story beat here, and you could unlock some more stuff, but not just like a little bit just do it in bigger chunks so there's some flexibility to it.
Yeah, and I think Cognito, you said it right. Like it is cool to catch the lines. Like when I listened to that line, I like was smashed my chest at the end, and I'm like, okay, cool. And it's starting to mess around with Dim just to check and see my loadout and stuff like that. And then I heard the lines, and I'm like, whoa, you're talking about Aphrodite? What,
bro? They were talking. And
that was cool.
That was cool. I liked it. I mean, again, if they're going to drip speed, which is where we're going. This is where this is what it is. This is the no Vicarious, the no Activision, the no High Moon Studios flow. This is the we're working on Matter and possibly D3 at the same time. And this is how once we seen the helm, I knew. I was like, oh wow, it's really bad, is it? They they're putting out all the stops right now to hold us back. So if you're gonna do it, I'm gonna be okay if I get those types of interactions and get that type of engagement with the narrative and lore, because at least it's helping drive it along a little bit as far as I can tune in and hear what these relationships are. But for a guy like E, you know what I mean? I get him. I feel him. He's like, yo, how much engaged am I going to really be with 2 more Battlegrounds or whatever. And that's the question, and it's a tough one. It's a tough one because I do sympathize with him and I sympathize with them. It's a tough thing because it's like, until they figure out how they want to move with Destiny moving forward, we're going to be here for a while. Yeah, we're gonna be here, y'all. I'm just telling y'all, like, this is what it's gonna be, and I get it. A lot of people don't want to hear it. They don't want to. They're like, look, I pay as much money for this game. I put so many hours in this game. They need to change the structure, or I'm out. And then it's gonna be a situation where I think we've seen examples of it. I believe it was Gathalion or someone who made an example, like, look, seasonal model is just not for me. It's just not for me. As a hardcore guy. I'm only coming in for the Beyond Lights, the Shadow Keeps, the whatever. You know what I'm saying? And that's where it's at. And then I'm also seeing this weird cadence where the season that's tied to the expansion is always ironically the weakest. Always weak. Yeah. Always weak. Like,
because they know they can crutch on it a little bit. They can just like,
got the expansion.
And I think part of it too is that they also want to make it, you mentioned like you got to make it I shouldn't say the lowest common denominator, but you have to go to the person who can invest the least amount of time, and you don't want to leave them behind.
Right. And that's the majority. That's the problem. That's the bigger base. Because again, they're Captain Analytical. They're looking at the numbers. They're looking at the Game Pass. They're looking at the PlayStation 5, 60 frames per second. And that's where all the majority of the base is. Whereas you may have a hardcore section of the PC and the content creators and stuff like that. They're in a tough spot, man. I do not envy them. Continue, man. I'll cut you off. Sorry.
No, that's it exactly. I think it's one thing they are smart enough. I mean, any human being can read Twitter, and I know sometimes Twitter can be kind of a cesspool. Yep. Yeah, I mean, I'm being nice. I only get on Twitter because I'm a content creator. Like, if I wasn't a content creator, and if I didn't put stuff out, I would. Yeah. It's a good way to connect with people, especially like you guys. But the other stuff is like, I would never go onto Twitter because I feel like some people, it can be a real. It is not representative of what most people are thinking, and I think that's what some people think. They think this is the world, and it's not. But anyway, like, you're right. They're too smart. They're too competent. Like, you don't have to be super advanced to understand that these problems exist within the game. I think that I love that idea of like, I've got this much water. I got to put out these fires. I love that. That's great. And I mean, the PvP community is one of those things that I'm definitely feeling about. And I wouldn't say I'm a PvP main. I enjoy PvP when there's nothing else to do. But I really feel for them because, like, we haven't had any new Iron Banner gear, and I love Iron Banner. I'm weird because I love Iron Banner. A lot of the other people I play with don't like Iron Banner. I like Saladin. I like the whole idea of it. And there's some nostalgia for me because one of my other videos that kind of launched me a little bit, it was like one of my first. It was like the 5th Iron Banner that they ever did. I put a video out about it. I was like, oh, cool. And then I liked all the ornaments and gear and stuff. But we haven't had new Iron Banner gear in 3 years.
Isn't this season stuff like another throwback too? Somebody already got some of it. Yeah, that's what I thought. It's just the same stuff. And I'm like, guys, you have to do something different. And I will say the Rise of Iron, like, that was actually one of my favorite things about Rise of Iron is the Iron Banner gear was so good. It was so good. The guns looked awesome. They had that whole wooden kind of
with the fur and the thing, and then you had the fire chests and the things and the big elaborate ornaments and the
it's like man, they can make that stuff. It depends on where they put it now.
Yeah, that's
Like-
the thing is, and I want to believe, like you guys said, that they're waiting on something and that they're pushing it, they're investing in Matter and maybe a Destiny 3. So
They need to call Microsoft on some plan.
yeah, I mean,
they need to get bought. That's what they
think
need.
I think that they need to be like to either like team up with another crew, but
Yeah.
make it so that there's not creative control. Because you're no
Yeah,
matter
they're not
what,
gonna
if you
do
go
that,
with
yeah.
if you go with a bigger company and you team up with them, they're always going to try and get a big piece of the pie. But the thing is that I think Microsoft, especially if they could be like, hey, we need some teams for this. Like Microsoft has got teams, they've got gaming studios. If you could
Yeah.
somehow connect it without, bringing back, because you got to remember, like Microsoft and Bungie, that was Halo. That was
Halo, yeah.
That was the moment for everyone, for a lot of people with these games is that idea. And I think that if they team up without it being like a creative control structure thing,
Right.
I think that they could do great things and that they could like actually invest in the game that they want.
Yeah.
I don't think that stasis, like in the PvP community, I don't feel like stasis. I think it's a symptom of a greater problem. Like a lot of people really don't like stasis because of the whole idea of being frozen, and they're not wrong. It's essentially like a trapping mechanism.
Right.
But if you think about it, it's the same thing as a smoke bomb. It's just like enhanced smoke bomb. So
yeah. I mean, stasis is not going anywhere. I can tell you they didn't spend like an entire expansion, aspects, fragments. They're like, remove stasis from PvP. I'm like, I'm not a PvP player, so I understand the sweat lords are like, this doesn't feel good, but I can promise you from Bungie's sake, it's not going anywhere.
No, it's
not going anywhere. Yeah.
Just be like, there's no way that's going to happen.
Yeah.
I've been having a ton of fun with stasis and PvE.
Oh,
Right.
dude, it's amazing.
I got a couple new builds now. Only thing is though, the warlocks, man, bro, we got shot.
I think they said they said something. They said something on Twitter that it's broken, that it's bugged.
That turret not working the way it's supposed to.
Hold on, let me look it up.
Trash.
Yeah, let me look up.
That turret is garbage. If that turret is so bad,
Well,
like
Fallout's video was like standing right in front of him and is like not doing anything, just like
the concept of it is cool. I was like, oh, turret. I play games like that where you defense games, even a little turret out there. Like, yeah, not this one. This one is just.
Well, you could have arc, buddy. Stasis. No, how did I say? Somebody said you could have. No, you can't have all three.
Tweeted 2 hours ago. We confirmed that Penumbral's blast damage being reduced was not an intended change and will be fixed. So, I feel my warlock friends.
Yeah.
I almost feel like to solve it for PvP, it's not to take stasis out of the game. It's to do another one of those. It's an enhanced smoke bomb, so you don't freeze people. Like the thing is when you remove player agency, then that doesn't feel good. So I feel like if they used it as a slowing mechanic only and they didn't allow you to freeze anything, to freeze people, I think that would solve a problem. But again, I'm an armchair developer, so I'm living the dream.
No, it's like I'm with you because like when it like the Duskfield grenade or something, I got slowed basically, but I didn't get killed. I think somebody like a hunter hit me with one melee and I was slowed, but I managed to kill them still. Like rare moment.
Yes, they
that actually felt okay because it was like this sucks.
Yep.
It's like they use their ability. It's like, but I managed to get like the final hit. Cool, but it's like when you're just like
trapped,
when you're statuesque, and you're just like, I think I've got out of that once just by pure luck. They got me, and I saw somebody kill him. I'm like, cool. I'm still looking this way because I can't turn my face, but
Cognito, I think you got it right on the money. I think you keep that freezing mechanism in PvE so that you feel strong in PvE, and then you take it out. Like if you get hit by like the Great Glacier Nade, like it slows you down. Like you just get the Duskfield slowing down effect.
Right.
So you at least have the ability to move in some way. I think that'll make PvP feel a lot better, but then they would have to separate the sandbox, and that's a whole other thing.
Yeah,
but they know that they could do it.
They could do it. I mean, it's just I think it's a battle they're not gonna, try to attempt for whatever they've gone at it this long. The thing is, look, I played a ton of PvP. I played a lot of this season. I'm already. What's your like, by the way? What's y'all like? Let me see where y'all at. What's your likes at?
Let's see.
1281, something like that.
Okay, yes, I'm close to 13.
I'm at 1291.
Yeah, he's kicking the crap
about to
out of
be
me.
1292.
Okay. Yeah, we kind of similar. No, so it's like, and I played a ton of Glory.
Yeah,
Glory Crucible.
It's a good way to level up.
right?
It's the best way to level up.
Great way to level up. Oh my lord! So like playing that, shout out to Forte, shout out to Sitting Table Rockin', and it didn't feel like PvP felt good. I mean, the only thing about Stasis right now that I have a problem with, I felt they've neutered the dust grenade, dust field finally into I feel it feels somewhat fair that I can shoot back and I can at least get out of it a little bit better than before. The issue I have now is with the freezing stuff on controller, it still feels awful trying to get out of it. It's like, tap the right analog 2 times. And I'm like, now I heard, I think they updated where you could change the escape button or something like that.
Yeah, and I actually don't like that because they won't let you, because it used to be you held down your class ability.
Right.
And I'm actually not a huge fan of that. And I play keyboard and mouse. I play both, but now I'm starting to main keyboard and mouse.
Right.
And I don't like the fact I have to change my keybinds now because they won't let you put it on your class ability. It will not tag onto that.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel good on PC either, or mouse and keyboard, to your point, Cognito.
Yeah. And that's the thing. There's something still off about the escaping and the damage when you escape. And it's still that part with the hard freeze. That right. I still struggle with that. But overall, everything else, like now, I mean, outside of, there's a couple of things, man. That Titan thing I got, man, with that slide to the thing. Oh, my God.
The new Shatter Dive?
It's been really, I mean, they're going to tune that too, because the Titans were using that back in the day. I would argue that if you know how to do it, Titans with shotguns and close range maps are the meta.
God.
They're so good.
Oh, the slide, how far you can? Yeah, it's crazy.
Because you can shotgun anyone from any distance in PvP. Like you could be a mile away and you just zoom across the map. You get I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
Let me tell you.
I might do it once or twice.
let me tell you, the disgusting thing I had to face in Glory Crucible was a couple of Titans with that and Duality, because Duality also got a buff on distance. It's more than Fellwinter's Lie, y'all. The guy, what's that map? Burning Shrine. You know, there's in the center, there's the corridors that's separated by the gap when you're inside the shrine.
Yeah. Yep.
I was on the other side of the shrine.
Okay.
And the guy was running towards me, hadn't made the jump over yet. He slid to the edge of his side of the ledge, duality'd me, and killed me. I said, how? Yep. How did this man range me this far? And I was like, what gun was that? And I was like, oh no, duality with that thing? Scary. So yeah, there's a couple of combinations that I'm like, oh boy, that's going to be a little better. But for the most part, I still been enjoying PvP.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? I still enjoy Stasis. I've been messing around with the new aspects of the fragments. I didn't think we were going to get too many of those, but I got some new stuff while working out. And just, we just got to get that Warlock turret fixed, and then I'll be good. Everything else, I'm fine.
You know what the new meta is, though? The new meta that's coming out, and if you're a Warlock, this is going to make you happy. Everyone, when you're running in high-end comp, because of the only way to fight Stasis, if you're a Warlock, unless if you're doing, even Top Tree Dawnblade is a little tricky in close corners. Everyone is running Chaos Reach with Geomag stabilizers. And so when I would go up, and I used to see a lot of Stasis when I went into comp and did the glory playlist and stuff like that. Yeah. The first couple ones I've been seeing Chaos full Reach. Teams of people using Chaos Reach, and it's because it's the only way to do it, and you get your super back so quickly. And now if you've got there's some things where you can get your super back really quickly. You have a high intellect build, and you just consistently do that and pop that. It's going to be really good because. We mentioned it is the community is going to find the best thing. And if people are like, I need to find a way to fight Stasis, what better way to fight Stasis where you have to kind of be close range, sort of, than a giant laser beam from a mile away.
Stop that.
There's no other better way to fight it. So.
And it's one of the ones that can output enough damage, because the annoying thing is I'll run around on my Titan, and I love hammers. I still do. I can't tell you how many supers I smash with one hammer and they don't die. I'm like, why do you take two? Why do you always take two hammers? I'm like, direct hit. And even with the explosion hammer, still not dead. And then I'm dead by that point because there's nothing I can do. But that laser's too much fast damage. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And Cognito, to your point, I think that PvP, I think with guns, we are at the
with
best
the best
place.
That's better, yeah.
We are at the best
meta.
place we've ever been because snipers are strong, fusions are strong, like everything has its place. The thing that's actually kind of messing everything up is just the imbalance caused by abilities. So I hope they don't retune it to like Destiny to the original, like where you get your super once in a match if you were lucky.
That was just too much. Yeah, that was too little. The only thing though, look, I know 120s, this is your time. But my only issue is listen, that thing hits like a truck, right? My only issue is at the range it's hitting at now. Yeah. Because this thing is not only hitting the hardest, but it's also got probably the longest ranges out of all the hand cannons. So my only thing is we need a little range reduction. Range reduction. Just slight range. Other than that, that's just me nitpicking. For the most part, I'm happy with the weapon meta. Like I feel the weapon sandbox for the most part is in a good place. I think some machines at least on console, they don't shake as much. They feel really much better now. I think sidearms still have a good place. 600 autos. I mean, I've used some of them a couple of times. Annoying Hunger a couple of times. It was still good. Yeah. Right now though, I can't lie though. 340s, bro. Oh, 340. That's why I can't wait. I gotta jump in trials. I heard Messenger is the 3 win. And
I'm not gonna lie.
I need to get in there for the 3 wins. Even if it means
Messenger. Desperado Messenger. Are you kidding me?
My favorite gun. Yeah, my favorite gun from I actually used to farm. It was the Hopscotch Pilgrim and the Messenger.
Let's go.
Taking me back. Dude, I gotta do some trials this weekend.
I saw a couple people get like Killing Wind, Desperado. Like the amount of perks on some. I will say I think it's the Gambit hand cannon, which nobody can get like a good drop up because it's you got one? Oh, you lucky bastard.
I don't have one.
No, because it's a 120 and everybody's like, oh, this feels good. You could go through 20 matches and not get one because there is no good way to grind that. And that's again, like, they have 2 of those in there, but you're like, people are like, I played 20 Gambit matches. What am I doing with my life? I'm trying to go after like one weapon.
Right.
Like a little bit more direction in some of those like world loot pool playlists would be nice. Because when you throw it in like 30 other weapons, kind of hurts. Yeah, the Messenger, as much as I like pulse rifles anyway, even I might have to recruit a little help. I even told my brother, I was like, we are going to have to struggle through that bounty, but we need at least one of these things. I don't care. So
that's it.
I don't know if I can recruit any. I don't know if I can recruit any backpack help, but yeah, I'll just.
Hollymon's in there. Hollymon's in there.
I know Aries. Dude, Aries. I don't even know if I want to put you between me and my brother in trials, and you're the good one in the group. With 2, I don't know if your backpack has enough space for both of us.
He about to carry out one at a time.
He's like, I need some side assistance here.
Yeah. The Messenger. I need that Messenger, bro. I need that, bro. Because listen, no time to explain. That's like literally my go-to for everything right now. It's great. The only thing that could compete is if a 120 got the drop on me first, then I gotta disengage because he's gonna win. But if we're even, you know what I'm saying? I can knock him off the square. I think the flinch is good with the with snipers and stuff like that. Where I'm able to move him off the square a little bit. And man, I've been really liking the meta. I mean, obviously Felwinter's lies running roughshod. We know Felwinter.
This is its last season.
I was just about to say this is last season.
And True Prophecy, which is arguably a lot stronger than the Steady Hand. Mm-hmm. This is the last season of that. So a lot of people are going to be trying to lean on their Steady Hand rules and stuff like that.
Yes.
But I think you're exactly right on the money. Is just if you just tick the range down on
just
that,
down a little bit, just a little bit.
Yeah, you don't need to nerf the gun. You just make it so that it's not a sniper rifle. Like that no matter what will body everyone.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And last PvE tidbit, what you call it? If you guys got a god roll, if you farmed Crow's Wrathbone weapons, that what is it? Deafening Whisper or something?
Deafening Whisper is great.
Oh, the void grenade launcher?
I use it in the second encounter. It's like my main go-to weapon of second encounter of the Deepstone Crypt. Because like what I do with my teams is I'll be the operator. And what's cool is so many people struggle with that. If you're up in space, they struggle because there's like no way to get to that servitor if it's hiding, except if you use Deafening Whisper and you just waveform grenade.
Just waveform.
2 or 3 of those, done.
And
Like,
I feel like the waveform is kind of ignores opposite element energy. Like it doesn't matter. Like I'm using it in the battleground thing, and it's all solar, guys with solar shields and wave thing. Definitely Whisper is just like, so what? I'm taking out. It's even taking good chunks out of like orange bars. I'm yellow bars, and I'm like,
yeah.
This thing is really strong, like really. So I can't wait. So I'm working on that. I'm using that a lot because I'm working on trying to get the breach load, the new one, the one that's supposed to be
Salvo.
Yeah.
I want to get
It's
that.
great.
I'm working on that.
Combos on that are kind
Have
of
any of y'all
solid.
gotten your Tiku's catalyst yet? I'm curious because I haven't got mine.
I'm
yet.
trying. I need
just
to get to level
started with
22,
Okay.
and then like I'll quadruple the progress. But I'm on the second set of objectives, and I'm done with the bottom, and I'm working on the crucible and the matches, and
Okay.
I want to try and finish it this week, and if I can get level 22, I'll burn through that.
Okay. Yeah, what you were saying, Mano?
I was just saying, I really only started playing with because I've got a couple of videos just with how busy my normal life have been. I was going to do like Abontis put out a really good leveling guide. I was going to put out something like that, like a leveling guide, the fastest way to get salvager's salvo or whatever it is. Like I've got a way, I got it in a couple hours. I haven't played a lot, but I've been like trying to do that. But I've got a couple of those videos, but I haven't really got to spend a lot of time with that. I only got into it like last night, actually like going in and just messing around in the battlegrounds and like talking about like the match. Like the first time I shot it too, I'm like, okay, match. And like what you were saying earlier in the podcast, like I didn't understand it until like it took me a couple of tries and the cool like prime kill, prime kill.
Yep.
So,
once you get the dance, once you get the
feels
rhythm,
good.
it's
nice. Fun. And I actually love bows. I actually for some of the things that I used to do with the dungeons is I used to primarily use bows. So
okay, you and I like share that too.
You guys share the same thing.
I have gone through every solo dungeon run that I've done.
Bow.
I always have used a bow for a good chunk of it. Maybe not every single encounter, but I can tell you every, like, whether it's the end of Prophecy, whether you're like picking off the guys on the boss run, or there's times I have used a bow in every Shattered Throne, like almost the entire damn way through.
Yeah.
And now Trinity Ghoul. Oh, if you go Trinity Ghoul in the Pit of Heresy, the Chamber of Suffering. Oh my God. With the catalyst on Trinity Ghoul, that room is a joke.
Oh, Trinity Ghoul. Oh my God. Trinity Ghoul's amazing.
Yeah. Now, can I say something, by the way?
Let's go.
I know there's
something
loot in Shattered Throne. I know there's loot in Pit of Heresy. For the love of God, can we please make those like a rotating pinnacle featured dungeon?
Make a pinnacle.
Because, like, I don't know. Are they dropping powerfuls? They're not dropping powerfuls. They're just dropping rolls.
But here's the thing:
that are
is like
this season.
We both make the Ascended. We had made the Ascended Challenge videos. Like last night on stream, I went to go. There are great weapons, and going back to Lord Cognito and the love for Forsaken, and my favorite armor from all of Destiny 2 has been the Reverie Dawn set. So I'm gonna get it. Like I'm gonna get it completely because now all the Ascended Challenge video or all the Ascended challenges are good to go. You'll get fresh stuff from that. Shattered Throne. Like, I'm really excited to dig back into that stuff, even though it's not powerful. But I love that idea of having like Prophecy, Pit of Heresy. Like, if you could rotate that every week, I know that's not necessarily fair to those people who don't have those expansions, but maybe, I don't know, maybe you do something because that would be a cool way.
Yeah, I agree.
Because
just a way to give them like a feature. Be like, if you're working on a pinnacle every so often, like one of those is a pinnacle, just to give it. Yeah. Because those are some of my favorite content. They're doable by smaller groups. So you don't have to organize a raid, which is still fun, but it's like, it takes less people. Even a 2-man fire team can't do those. And those are as close as some people may get to a raid. But if they're the less incentive is there, it just kind of hurts them now.
I agree. How long have we been preaching 100% on the money? Rotating raid pinnacle, rotating in dungeons,
coming, right?
Yeah, that's coming, right?
That's in patch notes. It's not ready, but something is it coming like a future season or here?
Future, I think it said.
I read. I can't remember what I read.
But I read
he wrote. DMG wrote something about like it wasn't supposed to be in there, but it's coming. I feel like that'll be like that moments of triumph moment where they rotate the raids and stuff like that. Yes. But the real question is that before Destiny 3 or is that before Savathûn or the Savathûn expansion, the Witch Queen?
That's a good point.
I don't know.
Yeah, we got to see. Last thing I'll say is, have y'all been using Skyburner's Oath?
Oh, like
Yeah, I've heard it's beast.
Nobody's business in Battlegrounds.
Oh boy,
It's awesome. It's awesome. If you've got the catalyst and stuff, it shreds.
oh
Okay, am I missing
boy.
something? Catalyst just does range, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
So
but
it's
it-
like, but it was like it goes through. I mean, it's
Goes through shields.
anti-barrier, goes through the Cabal shields. I'm literally like playing on stream. I'm like, I don't barely have to aim. I'm just like holding it down and generally moving around the screen and be like, all right, peck over here. Like it's like easy mode for the Battlegrounds. No, if you got Cabal, yeah, Skyburner's Oath is like easy mode to just the slug shots hit pretty hard.
pretty hard.
Or you're just start pecking damage. No matter what you're hitting, you're like, that damage bar is actually going pretty quick. Just keep firing.
That was my go-to for them until I actually learned how to use Tikus properly.
Oh, that's true too. Yeah, I've been working on just the catalyst though, so that's why I've gone back to using that one. But yeah, Tikus when I'm done, Tikus is just too much fun.
That was so much fun, especially that one in Europa in that last room. It's the Saladin and Osiris talking. And
with the Colossus and just everything's in there.
And it's just so much. And then that final stand he does, when he has that little bit of energy, he creates the bow, and then he puts all the goons out. It's just nothing but Cabal. It's so much madness on the screen.
right.
And if you have Tikus and you're priming stuff and you're blowing up people that's next to each other, I have so much fun with that straight. Like that, in that little confined space, is so much fun. But
And
yeah,
I
man.
think that was something about, I think even Dado talked about this, and I don't always agree with Dado, but like he 100% nails this. The reason why everyone loves Sepix is because even though it's not a large strike, there's so many enemies, and it feels good to kill them. It just feels good to just slay out. And what is it? It's like 5 rooms is that strike. It's literally like you go through the railway, then you go through that small little area where all the hive and the fallen come out. Then you go to the big open area with the tank, and then you're at Sepix. And you just it's and I think you spoke to it too, is you feel that big open concept. That's one of the ideas I love about Destiny 1. And you see the ships, the rocket ships that would go up to space, and you see him there. Like, it's just a cool game space. I don't feel like clustered and like tightened in. It doesn't matter if there's a damage mechanic. There's so many enemies to kill. It just feels good.
Feels good. I love the overwhelming odds, and like it feels like they're really trying to smother you. You know what I'm saying? Even at the end, you beat Sepix, they're still coming out.
Well, that's the thing too. It's like it's a different feel, as you guys saying. It's like sometimes I feel like in strikes, it's like, oh, there's this one sniper who's gonna like ruin your day, and it's like one guy ruined my day. It's like that doesn't feel as good if you get like pegged with one sniper and a Grandmaster Nightfall. Pink, you're like, oh. As opposed to here's a horde of enemies coming at you. It's like, all right, fight them off, explode everybody, doing all those things. Run over here. It's like that feels. And if I do die on that mode, I'm like, all right, that feels kind of justified because I got overwhelmed. As you said, even Dado said, he's like, if I don't pay attention, I could get surrounded. But also, when I pop my super and I see the chain of like score numbers go off on my screen, it's just like you just exploded 20 guys here, 5 over here. It's
so
like
good.
That's when it's fun. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, New Rad said it too. The brig in the tank area, I did not expect the big like mech. Brig.
I was like,
oh dude, we got a brig in here. There's 2 of them, I think. I was like, okay, that's a fun addition. That's nice.
It'll be fun. It'll be fun when they do the Grandmasters and stuff. Like, even though I'm not huge, I'm not a huge. How do I say this? I like the idea of Grandmasters. I don't like the way that they executed it.
I'm with you.
Because instead of there being new mechanics or new things that you have to overcome, it's here's a wall, deal with it.
Yeah, like pretty much.
And here's a really, really prickly wall that if you look at it wrong, it's going to kill you.
Right. Yeah. And like if they would redesign it, like maybe the tank has a shield with it and you have to kill the 2 brigs first, and then you have to throw a thing at the shield. Like I feel like there's so many extra little things that they could pop in that they could teach people, because that's one of the major things about raids, especially coming from like a raid and dungeon Sherpa. There's all these little cool mechanics that could make it feel good that already like we kind of have an understanding of. But the more, this is weird because as a music teacher, like until you put those challenges in front of people, they're not going to get good at it.
Right.
So if you constantly are just like, well, people aren't good at it because, the corrupted strike, they don't know how to pass it to each other. Well, put it somewhere else in the game and teach them how to do it.
Right.
Don't let them sneak by it. Like teach them and be like, you have to do this to do that. People will understand the raids a lot better,
Well, I mean, that goes back to, we haven't said it yet, but I did want to shout you out on this one before I even completely forget about it. But this goes back to 0 hour, the 2 different difficulties.
Yes.
No, but the two different difficulties, the
Yeah.
normal and the hard, that's a different feel as you go through. Like the jumping puzzle is more difficult that you got to go through. The
Mhm.
order that I don't know if you have to switch the switches. I forget. You know it better than I do. And then just the
Nope,
final room as
switches are the
well.
same.
You can
Yeah.
run them the same.
You can run the switches the same. Switches are the same. The only thing that's different is the jumping puzzle,
Yep.
and then the burn.
The
if
fire
they ever
torch.
Oh, please bring it back at some point, please.
Oh God.
Please.
So I wanted to
please,
shout him
please.
out because I know I said it like in the intro and probably blew past it. But on a side note, because I wanted to say it,
Yeah.
how many did you end up with for total clears? And
Woo.
a quick little side note, you have a very like gentleman's agreement that you have an asterisk that you share that record with somebody, which is awesome.
So it's a cool story because I am just they added I'm just looking at Dungeon Report for the first time. So like they actually had it Harbinger because they're actually calling that a dungeon. I have 1,072 clears of it. So I am me and Soft. Soft was another guy who kind of joined in the community. What happened was I started just chasing it and I started helping people. Not only was it helping the stream, but it was an encounter I loved because it's an encounter that there's a lot of density to it. It's chaotic. It's crazy.
Nuts.
If you have to deal with it, you have to, it's not something that you can just like, I'll just kind of force my way through. You have to think your way through it. And so I found that I was getting a lot of traction on YouTube videos. And I mentioned this in the notes for the stream, Esoteric and Glad and everyone else had all these great videos back when like stuff was just broken. And that was like when Skull of Dire Ahamkara and Orpheus Rigs were like insanely powerful. And so they'd have all these tutorial videos. And then it was 2 seasons later. And all of those strats were null and void. And a lot of people were like, I can't do this. I'm using these videos. And I'm like, you can't do that anymore. So I just started getting on my Titan and like I just felt like a really good vibe with it. And I just started running them and people enjoyed it. I made it kind of a hype show and it's something I hope at some point I can kind of bring back to the stream. Maybe I can do it with Harbinger, but Harbinger doesn't quite feel the same. It's like when I'm in the like usually I would carry people because everyone struggles on the jumping puzzle, right? And for me, like I just fly by it. I don't even think about it anymore.
Skip half of it I saw, which is impressive.
Yeah, you can skip the because especially in the hard mode, if people are struggling with it, when they did a couple of the nerfs to a couple of things, using that would help you to get through more. And so that skip that was right before the hangar bay, there was a skip you could go underneath and basically skip the area. And what it does is it unlocks all that stuff. Now, I don't often cheese stuff, but because at the time, everyone really wanted to get that weapon. Everyone wanted to make sure. And I mean, because they knew they were going to take it away and they still haven't brought the
Headless back,
so all those people who I helped, like I feel good about because like at least I got them the catalyst. Maybe they didn't unlock the catalyst completely, but they can finish it now. But anyway, I just started doing it and I love the encounter. I think it's one of the best encounters in Destiny 2 history. Like I put it up there with Riven. Like it's not overly thoughtful, but if you understand how the encounter works and like how the tanks spawn and what constantly spawns enemies and how to deal with all the different shields, like it's an amazing encounter and I love it. I think it's better than Whisper, but I know some people have a lot of love for Whisper's music though. Whisper's music, like I didn't throw that out with the music, the pieces of music, the green room music,
the green room, Come on now.
Vibing on that. Yeah, 100%. But the way that the gentleman's agreement worked is there was a guy, and I'll actually have to look it up at some point, is like to look at 0 hours, is there was a guy who had like all these that it literally just ran normals and was helping people through. And I just set a goal. I was like, I'm going to be #1 in the world at doing this. And I've got all this time. I spent all my time streaming to do this. There was another guy named Soft who was coming up and he reached out to me. I was like, yo, I'm going to go for #1. And he also wanted to go for #1 too. He's like, I just love this. I love this encounter. And it was so cool because, I talked about how the encounter is so unique. He had a completely different way of doing it. Like I had my strats and stuff like that. And it's so telling because he had this charged with light build with Sunbreaker. And I did it. He was running it faster than I was. And I was like, damn. And he showed me how to do it. and he showed me how to do it and what his build was. And it was so cool because he uses like Wither Horde and then Charge with Light, and then you can take out the tanks, and we could go into it. But it was really cool because we reached out and we started doing some runs together, and he started helping some people in the community too. And we just kind of came to this agreement of we're going to have the same number of normal runs. We're going to have the same number here. And to be honest with you, he slowed down for me because he could have taken it. And I was like, if he takes it, he takes it. And we kind of just agreed. It was like, I'm going to help the normal people out. I'm going to help the hard people out. So we are tied for number one. And nice. I don't know if he's still playing, to be honest with you, because he's literally like, it was my favorite encounter to do. I don't have a lot of time to game. I don't have a lot of time to do the grind. And so it's really cool that encounter exists, but that's the way that the gentleman's agreement worked out. Nice. We just both said, we're going to help out as many people as we can. When we get to this point, we're going to stop when we're number one. 1072 still stands the test of time. So the two of us are number one on that. Well, for whatever that's worth, you know?
That's still awesome, though. It's like 2,000 clears between you guys is insane, first off. Plus, and just the fact that, like, you found that's one of those cool things that Destiny still does, is you bring these random moments, cool people you would have never come across. I have done 136 episodes with this man, and I met him at Guardian Con in line passing out business cards because we were both people doing that like 27, I don't even remember, 2016, 17, whatever it was. And then from there, it's like we caught up later, started a podcast. I got on yours once, which at some point I'll jump back on there for like Witch Queen or something. Yeah, it's like we gotta get back. But
it's been a minute.
But those are like the little things like, and it's like, yeah, we're going to give the game a hard time. It's like the gameplay loop is this. It's a little drip feed here. But those are the moments that stick with you. And it's like when you said yours is 0, mine's Whisper. Mine is Whisper is mine because of like my video that like the algorithm loved for 5 minutes. And it's just like it. And that's mine because I went through that over and over. And mine was the exact same thing as yours because my Whisper video was...
It was heavy ammo, I think.
It was the heavy ammo break. Yeah. It was when it wasn't dropping. It was like 9 or 12 months after everybody else did it. And it was like, you do that point where it's like, it's a fresh one when something's broken. And it's like, this is now. And that's the exact same thing that did mine. And it's just, and it feels good too to know that like, I know all these other people did it then. I did this now. And it's like, and it's fantastic. Those are, that's why the secret missions, the exotic quests, the dungeons, those things that they truly designed to be soloable. Have some of like the special place for me just because I love that style. So
no, it's great stuff. I love it. I love it when they debut because I like to see both of you guys like getting your content creation back because that's your happy space. Like for me, it's Rage, right? So like Deep Stone Crypt. When people were complaining, I'm like, damn, this is a good raid. I'm playing this thing every week. I'm just like, I'm loving the weapons. I'm loving what I'm farming. You know what I'm saying? But I get it when it's a 0 hour, right? And when you get that secret thing or you get Whisper and then it's that dungeon. I see that spark go off in E. He's like, oh man, you know what I'm saying? And he's sitting there thinking about builds for each encounter. It's a beautiful thing. You know what I'm saying? That's them at their best. And like I said, you just hope that hopefully this season, at the very least, let me ask you this question before we go. Like, at the very least, if we don't get a 0 hour.
I was like, before you even asked that question, can I put a giant spoiler warning out there for everybody who doesn't want to know anything? We're going to talk about something for about 5 minutes.
Go for it.
So 5 seconds.
Let's go.
And you know what I'm talking about, Mano, right?
Yep.
Okay. So about 5 minutes or so, roughly, if you want to skip ahead, I'll probably wave my hands like a crazy person when we're back. But for now,
jazz hands.
Jazz hands. Spirit fingers. There we go. Sorry, why that sticks in my head still, I don't know. Shout out to, what the hell movie is that? Cheerleading movie?
Oh, gosh.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
You know what? I feel like it's Kirsten a sign of pride that I don't remember.
Know it anymore. I know, it's finally falling out of my head. Anyway, okay, so 5 seconds is up. So some of you guys, and anyone can do this, by the way, so if you want to look, this is up to you. You can go to the very bottom of the Bungie page, and us content creators do this and always know where this stuff is at. It's the press kit. It's where you find all your pictures. You see the thumbnails. You see myths. Be like, how do they get these crazy images? Bungie gives them to us. Trust me, they have the camera angles that we don't get. Literally in the folder, artifact, battlegrounds, characters, gear, hammer, helm, new light, strike, and then strikes. And there's one other one in there, and it's the folder is literally called Exotic Quest. So we know it's coming. I'm going to
Yep.
try and put this over my face right now. And it's exactly what we thought. It is the... I don't know if this is going to work. I'm going to try and squeeze it over my head.
I believe.
It kind of works. It's the best I can do.
Mm-hmm.
It's a weird transparency thing going on, but it's kind of there. Basically, it is what you guys saw, the split-second image of a Screeb, Osiris talking, there is no light here, and then we have this floating ship in an asteroid field.
Yep.
Now, as you also said, and I think it fell into my Discord as well, we also have a potential picture of an ornament or whatever's coming from this as well.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen that?
No, where are you looking in the press kit? I forgot where
So
you were.
literally just like
season of the Chosen press kit.
Season of the Chosen
press kit, and then just go whether you go compressed or large, they're exactly the same. It's just Exotic Quest.
Is it key art or no? It's got to be screenshots.
Screenshots. Exotic Quest.
And then Exotic Quest. Okay, cool.
So you have
okay, I got you.
Yeah, so you have one that just looks like the asteroid field, with kind of like the long off, and then the other one actually shows the ship.
I see it now. Yeah. And I've seen this. It was in the trailer.
This
too,
is the trailer.
So.
This is where Osiris says no light. Yeah. It's gotta be, bro. Yeah. Exotic Quest. It's gotta be.
So that's, and then there's some data mine stuff out there about it. And this is the point where it's like, it's always exciting. Like, I speculated before, and again, this feels like it would be perfect for like somebody like you. A timed escape mission, escort, go in the ship of whatever's happened. Because it looks like the little Screeb image when you get like the 1 or 2 frames of it. It looks like a horror movie. It looks like Alien Isolation. It looks like an Alien movie. So it's like, and then there's the lore bit. We talked about it last time. This is in the game right now where Callus was going around scooping up Scorn in the Tangled Shore. And now it literally says Exotic Quest. Is this going to be like a timed, go rescue mission on a ship or go retrieve something and get out in time? Whatever it's going to be, like, I am very curious when that happens, what it's going to be. Like that, these are the pieces of like, there may be downtime in here, but whenever this falls, of course, I'm going to lose my mind.
You see? And like I said, this is where we got to admit, as Destiny fans, we can be hypocritical. We can give them all that, crap. They doing, they reusing assets, they're not doing the resource. As soon as they give us that old content or the content that we want, whether it be a reissue, an old strike, a weapon. I'm seeing people, my boy, shout out to my boy from Destiny Podcast. He just got Shadow Price. He's losing his mind right now, right?
See, I'm not that excited about that one, but that's just me. So it's a 3.
Me neither. I got it. I did get it to John. Do you have it yet? Do you have
no, I don't even have one yet.
Yeah. No, I've only run it twice, and I just ran it to get my Nightfall stuff done so I could level my character. That was it.
I think I got a Feeding Frenzy. I want to say Rampage or something like that. I got it's a decent roll. You know what I'm saying? It's decent. I mean, it's not. Here it is right now. No, I got Feeding Frenzy Thresh. Excuse me. I got Feeding Frenzy Thresh.
Not bad. I wish Thresh did a little more.
More, yeah. Thresh is cheap.
Thresh feels like it's. I know they're like afraid of giving people super, especially for the PvP aspect, but in PvE, it doesn't feel like it does enough. It feels like a throwaway in PvE, personally.
I agree. I did. I'm still waiting on that because I like the new 750 SMG from the Prismatic joint. And,
the new season.
The new one. Yeah, the new SMG is great.
And I want to make that my one, but I'm feeling because I have one with Thresh, and then I have a Focus. What is it? What's the 600?
Frenzy? Focused Fire. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, you know what I'm talking. Last season's 600 was from
Friction
Crow.
Fire.
Friction Fire.
I was like,
Friction
not
Fire.
quite, but yeah.
Because basically, I had a Friction Fire that's Masterwork. Sorry about this, along. Friction Fire that's Masterwork that was I had like Wellspring and like a crazy sick roll, and I'm just getting my abilities back. And I was like, I got Thresh. That's super bad. Thresh is really, work as good as you think it does. And I think, shout out to Fallout Plays. I think it's like it gives you more when you have less than half or something, but then once you get to half, it's just it ain't feeling. Okay, what you were saying?
No, just I don't even know where I was, but just go ahead.
I was gonna
just
put the pin that we're kind of dealing with is like this whole dungeon and then bringing stuff. I think Cognito, you hit it right on the head. Is as soon as they deliver, like I think we're so critical of the game. It's like anything. It's like we're critical of the game because we absolutely love it. We know what it can be and how good it can be when it hits us. But when it doesn't hit us, it's like, I know this could be better.
Yes.
And I think that the moments where Destiny is at its best is where there's mystery, anticipation, and we don't know what's coming. Is there a 7th chest in the Vault of Glass? How do we get the Whisper quest? Lost to Light. That was actually one of the things that helped my channel back before I took my break of streaming. Is the first time that we got, which it was Whisper of the Worm, but it was back in the old day, which was Black Spindle.
Yep.
Yes.
Those missions mean so much to the game. And they're cool moments that the community can get after. And I hope that whatever this thing is, that ship in space, is another one of those seminal moments in the community that's like, holy crap, cool, let's go. I like the idea of it being a horror movie. There's no light here. And like, imagine going in and it's like the opening of the Crota raid where everything's pitch black.
Oh, dude.
And you're trying to find your way through. And if you don't have it memorized, you're toast and everything's going to like, oh my gosh, that'd be so cool.
Oh, it'd be so cool. It'd be so cool because they've even, let's be real, you know, one thing that's pretty amazing about Prophecy is they played with light and dark.
Yeah.
Right? That was the first time. I remember trying to figure out the mechanic and we were like, okay, when it falls, the moat falls in the light. And then they started to play with shade and shadows. Yeah. This could be an example. And again, like you said, you nailed it. It's like the thing when Destiny is great is, like I said, those mysteries, those secrets when you don't know. I feel for them because the mod community is so, I mean, you know, the hacking community is so good at, you know, getting the data whenever there's a patch note, so it takes away from it. But when they do have a moment like that, it can be special. The question I wanted to ask y'all, though, is if we get that, right, next season, is it time for VOG to come back? Do you think...
if VOG is not next season...
It'd be a bad use of resources, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm going to be... Like, I've been saying that forever. Like, 14, the spring season's always like... Worthy ? You had Drifter ? Like that spring season always is a bit rough. VOG is like their ace in the hole to be like, hey, you've been asking for this crap forever. Bam, here you go. Like that has to be that season. There's no way in my mind it's not because they wouldn't do. Well, sorry,
right.
I was just gonna say they wouldn't do season 15 like Vault of Glass, Witch Queen. They're gonna want space in there, so I think that's the other side.
And I think for me is like they're actually starting to imagine the whole 6th month schedule thing. Because if you think about it, it was essentially Prophecy Dungeon came out in Season of Arrivals, right? So that came out in Season of Arrivals. So that was like the summer period. So maybe this season, every 6 months, remember I talked about like putting out like a 6-month content drop. And maybe they're starting to look at that. They're starting to kind of orient themselves in the schedule. I could see it being a new dungeon or a new quest or something like that. This ship out in the asteroid belt.
Oh, ours,
but I mean, Vault of Glass, if you imagine like there's a raid here, which is Deepstone Crypt, and then we bring back the new raid, bring back Vault of Glass, and they do it every 6 months. There's just enough time for that content that you love.
That's what I was just about to say.
Every 6 months that you could do. So now we've had like a hidden mission. I'd like to say that this is going to be a dungeon. I feel if it's going to be an exotic quest line, I think it'll be cool. And it does say exotic quest in the thing, but maybe there's another exotic quest that we don't know about, you know, because they didn't put any of the, and of course, I'm not going to spoil it here, but there's a, you know, we know that that's the exotic quest, like it's already been found and that whatever it is. I hope that there is something in addition because it does say and much more in the calendar. And I hope that delivers and more at the tail end of it, because that'd be a cool way to lead into the next season, whatever it is have that dungeon there. And instead of putting it at the front, have it at the end. And you know, Season of Arrivals had the Prophecy dungeon at the beginning. If you put it at the end and it leads into the Vault of Glass somehow.
Oh, that'd be fire. That'd be fire. Now, this is where I would be okay with the bad resource.
I was going to say we would actually be due for a Cabal dungeon next because we've had one of each.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, true. Yeah. True. So, which makes sense. So the thing is, I would be okay with, you know, the drip feed stuff if we do, okay, we got the Beyond Online expansion at the end of the year, right? We have, which gives us the Deep Stone Crypt, but gives us a raid, right? So it looks like raids is going to be a once a year thing, right? Then you separate, you put a dungeon, maybe that following season, which is now the season of the, Season of the Worthy, or Chosen, right? Now, summer comes down to a revisited classic, right? Which now we most likely going to get a VOG, get the nostalgia up, and, you know, listen, from one thing we know about Bungie tends to do around the summer stuff is to get the hype going for what's going to come towards the fall. So if you give us a VOG, the hype is up again. Now, I can see this could be the cadence that they're going to try to hold on to until they're actually ready for a post Lightfall and all that with D3. And is it ideal? Could it be better? Yes, but I think they will survive with that, because as much as we say we upset, as much as we say when that new dungeon hit, that new raid hit, or let's say next year, 2022, we follow the same cadence. And we'll see which quick.
What do you think going to be Taken King comes back?
Yeah, you know Taken King. Y'all the King's Fall coming back. Y'all going to be lit. Y'all going to be sitting there like, Cog, this is why. This is the best raid. Look at this. People are going to go crazy to see Oryx again. Mm-hmm. And this could be the little cadence that, again, to hold us down until they're really ready for D3, until they're really ready to release Matter or whatever it is. And I think this is the hold on plan. You know what I'm saying? And we gotta see what happens, man. We gotta see. But I'll be honest with you, that's not a bad year, bro.
No.
That's not a bad year.
No, and I'm excited for that. That's the thing that I think will be good is if we have that cadence. Yeah, I have no problem with them bringing back old assets as long as they do it in a way that, again, rewards us for our time played.
Yeah, oh yeah. Absolutely.
And I like the idea. I think that was one of the reasons why Activision, I could be wrong about this, but I think Activision wanted them to make a Destiny 3.
Oh, absolutely.
And then like they would never go back to the old stuff that Destiny 1 had. And I like the fact that if you can lean on the assets without it feeling unrewarding, like Sepix is a perfect example of it. I think a bad example, a way that they didn't execute was having the Moth Yards and the Cosmodrome to connect that experience together. I think that's a bad example, but the Sepix Strike like just absolutely executes. There's nothing wrong with bringing a gun back in the game, especially to celebrate it, but you're always going to get people who are like, it's reused content, but I don't care because it's fun.
But if it's fun,
I don't care.
And it's done and executed well. And like you said, the key point, the time investment is respected with proper reward, whether it be from a weapon, a loot, and a visual perspective. It's something me and E always want. We want to look like gods. One thing about King's Fall, you came out looking like Oryx. You had, you know what I'm saying? Like that's the thing. And as long as they do that, they'll be okay. They'll be okay. Because I'm telling you right now, E, you get a new dungeon, and you get Vogue, and then you get another raid, and then you get King's Fall. Bro, you gonna be okay.
Believe me, I know. And like,
I hope that next season they lean a little bit. It would be cool if they do that for the PvE community, and then what they
PvP,
do
they got
is that they then for PvP that gives them a moment to turn around and be like, okay, PvP community, I know you've been struggling a little bit. Here's how we're gonna make the base community PvP. Like here's a couple more maps. Like it would be cool if they did that, and so that the PvP community could be respected and could like. Because I actually think that the whole Glory Valor system is pretty good right now. We just want some new maps.
That's all
maps. All you need to do.
Yeah, a little bit. Can we throw some golf balls in there, please?
Yeah.
Throw some golf balls in there,
just
please?
put a golf ball.
Yeah,
I was like, I still want to know what they're going to do with armor, but the stinginess of infusing right now, it doesn't matter. And believe me, I agree with all of the stuff you guys are saying. We want like 6 month, like if you do dungeon, exotic, like dungeons are better than exotic quests mostly. Because you have mechanics, length, there's more to them. I still enjoy the exotic quests too. Those don't quite have the same longevity though, unless you're a Mano and want to go for 1,000. Not everybody does that. But I will definitely say, like, will we get King's Fall back? Will we get Dreadnought? The one piece that I do hope they tie some of this stuff together as they're finally like, they're on a narrative through line between now and Lightfall. Like they have a general, like, they have the bullet points to get us there. I just am really curious how in the hell they're going to bring Vault of Glass back story-wise with no Venus.
Let's be honest. The way they brought Sepix back, it's going to be cut and paste. It ain't going to connect nothing.
No.
You go just go to a virtual space and
I was like, okay, so if that's the case, like you don't even expect the opening encounter, do you?
No, they'll have it. It'll just like it'll be like its own little hub, like a strike.
Off.
Yeah, it's going to be completely not connected to anything.
You know, I feel like if you're going to connect it and if they're working on it in some way, you could do it through one of the Vex gates on Europa would be an easy way to do it. And then you go in, and then all of a sudden, bam, you're in a new space. I what I'd like to see, I think would be great if they want to really help the PvE community out. I love my exotic quests or my exotic not quests, and that's the thing is I kind of separate Outbreak from exotic quests because I think
that's different. I agree.
I feel like the
secret
Devil's
missions
Ruin,
is what I should say. Like Whisper and Outbreak are separate. Yeah,
those are just amazing like pinnacle level activities that are great. I think that they need to lean less on the the exotic quests, like, hey, go scan for robots and now you have Devil's Ruin. I think that's lame, but I understand why they did it. But if they could have these new dungeons, tie an exotic to the dungeon. Because if you think about it, there's no real exotic that comes out of Shattered Throne, Pit of Heresy.
Wishender. Wishender.
Well, Wishender did.
Xenophage is in there.
Xenophage,
yeah, that's right. What does Prophecy do then?
Prophecy didn't do anything.
Prophecy,
right.
That's what I'm saying. Is that's like Pit of Heresy, and those two do have the exotic that comes from it.
I agree.
And I was wrong about that because Xenophage is actually one of my better videos. But yeah, why didn't they connect those two things together? And if they're going to do another dungeon, like have those two things kind of connect. Like it would have been cool if Witherhoard somehow was a reward or something like that kind of quest to do, because that's really cool. Not only for the content creation community, it gives an incentivization to people who want to get that exotic instead of just doing this straight line linear one thing and be done.
I don't like it. I'm gonna be honest. I don't like you. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely like I never really said this. I'm not a fan of when they promote the season, right? They're like, new season, and then they tell you you're gonna do the exotic quest to get blah blah blah.
Yeah,
and I don't like that. I like it when it's like Harbinger, or when it's like all the other stuff. Yeah, it's a secret, and then it pops up, and the community discovers it naturally within the game, right? That's what I like. So even if they took out. Okay, in this case, I probably won't say because I like Tikus, but let's just say hypothetically, you know what I'm saying? Like there was a second exotic or whatever, and it's just like, that is put in that kind of position. You know what I'm saying? I prefer that than just do a series of things and, it's just like busy work, kill all these things, get this, and then you're going to get it.
I hate the checklist to get an exotic.
I don't like the checklist ones.
Crappy.
I think the way to do it is just, I don't, the whole reason they make the calendar, it's another one of those, they're trying to again, in my brain, they're trying to get around a problem and they're trying to sell you on it. And they're trying to be like, you're going to get this stuff. Instead of doing the calendar or whatever, I think you just say, these are the things you're going to get, and then have question marks and be like 2 exotic quests. I know it doesn't feel.
I know what you mean.
To a marketing person, it doesn't work, but to a human being, it does, because they're like, wait, what exotic is that going to be? Is that going to be Outbreak? Is that going to be a Hawk Moon? Is there going to be Icebreaker? Is Icebreaker going to come back?
No, never on that one, but yeah.
But if you're like, hey, by the way, you're going to get this bow, and then you're going to get this other gun, and we already know what it is. We're kind of like, oh, like that anticipation, like the payoff of all the movies and stuff like that. When you ever go to a movie, when you have that moment where it turns, I mean. Let's go back. Spoiler alert for like 40 years ago. The reason why Empire Strikes Back and Star Wars hits so hard spoiler alert. If you haven't seen it, what's wrong with you? Is when Darth Vader like reveals it and says, Luke, I'm your father. That's the moment where like, oh, what? And like, if you have those moments in the game, that anticipation pays off. Yep. And that's right. You're right there, Cog, is just like, that's what we need more of. I don't mind them being like, here's the basic activity you're going to do. But if you can build anticipation, it doesn't feel good to people who are in marketing, because in marketing, it's like, hey, we really want to sell you on this. But sometimes just selling the mystery can feel good.
Breach. Even if we'll see what would help E, you just nailed it, is that he looks at that roadmap and he's like, 3 playing Battlegrounds.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I literally know on the season page it says Text Mechanica redacted. Or it's a Text Mechanica redacted exotic quests. So in my mind, I know there's something to look forward to. So I know that's there.
No, I know that. But but to what Mano is saying, which is a good point, which is like having something on the map, even if it's like a silhouette and it's darkened and it's like, you know, you just.
Do you want to know when? Is that what you're saying? You want to know when it's coming, but just don't know?
you don't necessarily have to put when. You can literally put that underneath the imagery, right?
Yeah.
And you can say boom, boom, boom. Like even you know what I thought was a good job, even though yeah, I thought it was a good season. Remember when we all in our mind knew Trials was going to come back, but it was like we were like, "Yo, what's Imperium found?" Remember we were sitting there coming out with theory. You gotta sell it. You gotta sell the mystery. Like mine was 100% right. And this way, people are like, "Yo, when this week happens, or when towards this part of the season, yo, something's cooking." Like you get people to log in like that. They're very good at mystery. That's their strength. But they have to also market it. Yeah, when they do it. You know what I'm saying? But they also have to market it to give us that anticipation. That, okay, this season is not as basic as we think. There's still some stuff cooking, and they can do a better job. But I do agree. They have to do a better job of it.
And I think that they try to sell us on this schedule too much. And I think that if they take that schedule away and be like, there's going to be stuff that you can check in with. It's like selling a product. You don't want to sell like, hey, here's some Coke. Like, here's some Coca-Cola. It's the same Coca-Cola you've always had.
Very different Coke there.
Very different.
Yeah, let's be clear. ManoDestra, the band teacher here, right? All right, kids,
that's how you get through those 12-hour days. Now we know.
Now we know.
We march into a cadence now, and we're going at about 400 beats per minute. Everybody ready? Here we go.
Mr. Destra, my heart feels like it's going to stop you. Keep going. You keep going. Don't let it stop you. All right. But I think that they try too much to sell us on this schedule. And I think that it's actually, to marketers, it feels good. But if you remove it, I just feel like they're marketing it the wrong way. I feel like their trailer team does such a good job. Put it out and be like, here's the stuff we're going to, like, here's the basic overview of the season. We're not touching the schedule. You show up when you want to. Because like here, this feels like a checklist. It's like, okay, I got to go to work to do my Iron Banner on February 23rd, write it in. Okay. Oh yeah. Guardian game starts here. There is a little bit of like, is Sparrow Racing League going to come back? I hope this is going to sound weird.
Hope but doubt.
Hope but doubt.
I hope that they do. I don't think that they will, because hopefully they're using their resources for other things. Unless if they somehow make it like bare bones.
I was like after the Cosmodrome, I highly, highly doubt it.
But Guardian games, I feel like last year wasn't as solid because, again, there was no anticipation. It was just Titan ability spam, and Titans still have the best ability spam in the game. They just do. It's just they're gonna win if you're gonna base it on ability spam instead of like activities completed or other things like that. They're gonna have to redo that. But why? I mean, just say these are the things that are coming. Don't put a date so that it feels more. I know it feels more mysterious, but you're more likely to, instead of being like, well, I need to be this level at this section. They're more oh, I'll just play the game until it feels good. Instead of here's my checklist, I'm done.
Right.
Well, I mean, even the idea of like content creation, unknown hype, things like that, like a weekly reset video doesn't even matter anymore most of the time, because they'll tell you the stuff before. You've got a scheduled cadence of when things are going to come. You know when it's off weeks. And then finally if something does happen, stuff explodes. And then like, okay, yeah, there's something to check in for. Otherwise, know what, if it was just like this season, we've got Guardian games. We'll have, Battlegrounds that are dispersed out. Maybe it's like, they'll figure out how those fall. And then on the other side, if they could like get away from such like the predictive calendar to also make sure that when you do check in, you're not so hampered by the weekly like must. Like you're not the prisoner to the seasonal challenges.
To the seasonal
so it's got to be the combination of both, because right now it's like week, check. Later on, if it's like, oh, cool, I checked in here, got a couple Battlegrounds. This is pretty fun. I worked on some stuff. Cool. Come back later. Oh, we got some more stuff in. There's they need a little more flexibility in there for all of us. So if you want to grind, you can. You don't have to come here, but then still pepper stuff and drop it throughout. Because we got two. And granted, like their worry, I guess, is like if they drop one Battleground, you got to run the same Battleground over and over for a week. That gets boring. But if they drop all four, that's different too. I don't know. But yes, I'm with you guys on less of, all right, let me pencil out the next 3 months of Destiny. That I don't want to do.
We'll see, man.
And I think that they're trying to do it to be, transparent, but there's you can walk and chew gum at the same time. Like there's a way for you to be mysterious, but at the same time, like help people feel like their purchase, which I'm going to say this, and this, I hopefully I don't turn some people off.
Let's go.
I don't like people who are like $10 for rehashed stuff, and this is all the same. Like, you can't even go see a movie for 2 hours for $10. Well, you can't see a movie at all, right? Like you can't just pay $10.
Problem.
But I mean, if you think about it, like you can get a Netflix monthly subscription, 1 month of content for $12. They're giving it to you for $10. And people who are like, I'm not going to invest in this season because I'm broke. If you don't have $10, like go shovel a driveway, like go mow a lawn, go mow a lawn.
Talk to him.
Like, I'm going to say this. Like, I have some people who stop and they're like, I'm 14 and I don't have any money. I'm like, well, first of all, go shovel someo's, like, that's how I made money when I was a kid.
Mow a lawn, go do chores, do whatever, find a way, man. Yeah.
It's like $10. And I feel like more people put roadblocks in their way because at the end of the day, you're still spending money on something. Like you're going to go get like a cookie at lunch or something like that. And nowadays it's probably like $2. But like you're saying that all this content that they're giving us isn't worth a 2-hour movie to less than a 2-hour movie. And that's cognitive dissonance for me. I get a lot of the community who's like, it's just too much money. It's like $10.
Listen,
go ahead.
Yeah. No, go.
No, like the seasons in Destiny give more than probably anything else. Any other game that I can think of in a season, I can't picture one that gives as much weapons, content, variety, story, voice acting lines. I honestly don't know what values that.
The thing that bugs me is when so much of the community is like, I've wasted so much money on this game. This is and I look at the amount of time that I have spent with this game, not only because I'm a content creator, but just from the pure enjoyability of the playing in the core loops. Yeah, it's not all great all the time, but I mean, have you looked at the Netflix library now? Like 3/4 of it is not great stuff. Like it is a bargain. It is pennies to the dollar for those people who want to like go see a movie, which all those things are like, oh, I want to go see a movie or I want to, do these things. $10 is a bargain compared to the other stuff that we've got. So
even if you did jump in at like week 4, week 8, and week 12, the fact that you have like probably a couple good solid weeks, like 3 different times where you'd get like, hey, let me catch up on the season. Now I can jump in. I can see all the new Battlegrounds. Couple strikes are back. Yeah, it's like I give it a hard time because we live in it for sure.
Right.
But again, when you sit there and I went through and I did the exact same thing. I was like, I know I'm breaking this down, but I also made a list of like everything in season 13. I was like, holy, it's actually a big list of items. Again, it's just $10. So it's all perspective too. It's just like we live in this thing. So I'm like, well, it is only one battleground every week. And I'm also going like, I'm probably lucky we get one battleground every week just to start. Like, it's all good to take a humble pill every so often and be like, yeah, it's not so bad.
Yeah, listen, I again, you guys are saying it best. I struggle when I see or hear, I've wasted money in this game and they're disrespecting me and, with this content and it's and I look at these people's hours played in this game. And I'm like, how dare you? That is literally the equivalent of eating all the food in the house in the refrigerator. You know what I'm saying? Every day you're in this refrigerator and you keep giving me this recycle. You don't have to eat, fam. You don't have to partake. Like, because clearly you're indulging yourself. You are so that's the thing that I struggle with. It's like I am literally playing hours upon hours of this game. Is this game perfect? No. Is there things that could be fixed? Yes, we know that. But it's just this when we have the insane amount, we have an abnormal amount of time investment with this one game. I have never seen a game, and I've been gaming a long time. I'm old. You know what I'm saying? Where I've played one game for over 6 years.
Yeah.
One game. Name besides WoW. I know the WoW
like,
people, I get it.
That
is an anomaly.
That's the key is there are 2. I'm literally putting 2 on the list of like, how many games have you spent hours in? World of Warcraft, Destiny, and that is it. Like, and I went from one little hardcore dedicated and somehow it's still another MMO, but light. Right. Either way, but it's like, how much do you get out of those? And it's just...
That's all I'm saying. It's to me, it's disrespectful when I hear people say this was a waste of money and they were... Bro, take your hours back. Stop. Let's look at all your hours and let's equate that to as far as time investment and financial output.
I actually did that. Like, so let's just say, because this is the argument, and I'll say this to anyone in the podcast, and I say this on my stream all the time. Let's say you bought like the expansion for Beyond Light and you bought Beyond Light. That's it. Let's say you spent $100. If you spend 500 hours in the game, which is nothing, it's nothing in the game. Nothing. My hours are probably like, I don't even know. I don't even know time in Destiny. I'll have to look.
Yeah, I wouldn't look at yours. It'd probably be scary.
I played a lot of this game, but I played a lot of the other games too. But if you look at it, if you play 500 hours of the game and you spent $100, that's 20 cents an hour. You cannot get that amount of time out of anything anymore. Period. Except for like, I'm gonna go on a walk and like that's about it.
I'm gonna walk to California, maybe. But,
yeah.
No, the only thing else I wanted to say on this is we're probably kind of like wrapping up, obviously, time as well. But the one thing for all of this as well, it's like the value we get, the things we're hoping for, the pacing of seasons and all that stuff. The one thing that Destiny does, like Bungie, especially for Destiny, needs to remember is when they talk to the Diablo developers, they've done this before. And it's like, people are going to leave your game. Good, bad, other times, a lot of content, little content. It's how they feel when they leave that matters.
Yes.
I was like, and that's one of the, because nobody's going to play this forever. I take little breaks, you take some, life happens. What's the last taste in your mouth? If somebody jumps into the season, plays a couple weeks, and they're like, oh, I can't even finish out the war table for like 7 weeks. I'm just like, those are just the little things to consider of like how much, as you guys said, when we describe like we're being held prisoner by a game, that's not a great analogy. It's not.
But you feel that way.
But you
feel that way.
Yeah. But, and that's the thing. It's like, so those are the balance of like, and again, it's a delicate line that they're trying to walk of like how much to give and how to sell it and market it and put business and keep food on the table for however many developers they have. And Destiny's the only thing. And the pandemic, and they're working from home. Absolutely. I get all of that. But again, it's like where they set these pieces, because people are going to leave at some point. You have people like Imtash at some point. He's just absolutely blown up. And he's just like, this is one of his first when he stepped away. He's like, some stuff looks cool. Other people live in it. Some people are going to come and go. Some people are going to see something like Outriders, go, and then decide if they want to come back. There's all these little pieces. And it's just trying to make sure they don't leave too much of that prisoner feel.
Right.
To make sure that, like, yeah, that was pretty fun. I took a little break from it, but hey, there's a new season. Looks kind of cool. I heard an awesome. The internet exploded with this Destiny thing. Let me go see what it's all about. Yeah, and that's just the one thing I want them to try and think about is like, if I look at something and I'm like, oh, and I dread what's coming, that worries me of when, like, I'm going to do it anyway because I'm a content creator. But if somebody's like, hey, I got the season, seen some Battlegrounds, cool. You're telling me this is going to I'll see you later. Like, that's what you don't want. And that's just the thing to watch out for.
Yeah, that's it. And it's okay. I tell people all the time, it's okay. Like, if this season or a specific season ain't hitting for you, it's okay, man. Just take a break, do something else, get your backlog knocked out. And then there's other situations like a Skill Up where he took a break. And now he came back and he's like, yo, like, I'm enjoying myself. You know what I'm saying? It's okay. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be here. But again, we got to, the people who are struggling, like, you know, lashing out and, oh, they got to get rid of Luke Smith and cancel this guy and all this other foolishness.
Can I just speak to that, by the way?
Let's go.
Because everyone who's like, cancel Luke Smith, they need to get their head examined. Because Luke Smith is responsible for the best times in Destiny. Period. Vault of Glass, Taking King, King's Fall.
Yeah.
Like, arguably when all, and I think he even Skill Up said something about this. If you think about like the whole looter shooter genre, no game has hit or been as successful
as Destiny
with all its problems as Destiny has.
Facts.
Anthem, pretty much dead. Probably next week they're going to like pull the plug.
They're about to decide to literally
about to.
And then Avengers was supposed to do that next thing. Came out half baked. I know Abontis, you played some of that too. I know that my buddy, Damn It to Hell, was a huge Borderlands guy, Borderlands 3. That game's pretty much toast now. I know that Division had its moments,
right?
And now they're apparently going to come out with some
they're
new
going to come out with some new
it.
content, I heard, finally. But let's be real, like, they crashed and burned hard.
Yeah.
Right now, like, they just got a 60 frames per second patch, but they didn't even listen to their community. There is no back and forth with the Division TWAB. This is what it's going to be, and that's it, and deal with it. Like, their community base was very upset with the raid and everything,
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree.
So I just think that people have to trust that Luke Smith knows what he's doing. And I think it comes back to Luke is being not disingenuous. He's trying to put something behind the curtain.
Right.
It's like, it's exactly, I talked about, like, there's never going to be a Destiny 3. We know that Luke Smith lies. He said, the stranger ain't coming back. We're done with that storyline. Be online. What's the first thing we see? By the way, the stranger's back.
Hawk Moon's not going to have damage increase. Remember that?
Yeah.
That was a recent one.
Well, yeah.
He's trying to make expectations. He's trying to create that mystery. He's got the right idea. It's just, did the systems execute it? And no matter what, we love the game because of all the feelings we get from it. So I think that the people who say that we need to get rid of Luke Smith, I think that's a bad, they don't understand what's really going on. Do they need to fix the stuff that's going on with PvP? Yes. Yeah. But I mean, I don't feel like it's that crazy. It's just a resource allocation thing. I didn't even think of that. I love that. I have this much water. I got to put out witchfires. Like, I love that.
Yeah, that's just perfect.
That's just spot on, man. Spot on.
Brother. Thank you, brother. Yeah, we all know what's going on, man. Like I said, just have some fun, enjoy it. Don't take too serious. And like I said, get frustrated, step away. All these great games still to play, and come back with your batteries recharged and refreshed. You're good to go.
Yeah. Well, I would definitely say we have.
We
have definitely filled out a full podcast tonight.
We just go.
What are we at now? 3 hours?
For a little over 3.
Nice.
But for your sake, for Cogs, for all of us, it has been somehow a fantastic. Are you saying no TWAB? The TWAB was light. The only thing I definitely want to say on the TWAB.
Dakota's killing us. She's
like, are you freaking kidding me? Not the TWAB? There's no TWAB. There's a calendar.
There really wasn't.
We have a new
TWAB.
season. Now, we'll say there's not no TWAB. The one thing
let's be fair, because
100% wanted to shout
definitely
out.
like absolutely. Go ahead.
They
I know what you're
address
talking about.
Yeah, some powerful stuff there.
Do you want to take it? Cog?
No, grab it. No, bro. Grab it.
Okay. So Black at Bungie was introduced last year, and they had the Be Heard collectible pin. Last year was not fun for many reasons, but the visual, seeing in the news, the world of everything we saw, how much racism has come to the forefront is really, really, really sad. Bungie, of course, one of the leaders in the game development world of doing the right things, socially helping the right causes, and always trying to do good things. Last year, their Be Heard, the collectible bin for Black Lives Matter, they donated to the Equal Justice Initiative, added up to about $425,000 from that pin. So to all of those of you who bought that, who haven't seen it yet, I think I have multiple of those things now, because every so often I'll just is it back in stock so I can buy another one? And then that's the other side is Pride as well. They do the Bungie Foundation, the Bungie store. Basically, they keep almost none of their profits. They're a game developer that has one of the best social consciences, and they're also not afraid to stand up for the right thing. When you see the CEO in the protest marching next to him, exactly. Yeah, it's impressive, and
shout
it's
out to Pete Parsons. Yeah,
and that was one of those things too. It's I summed up the TWAB this week on my Twitter, and the first thing I basically just said was Black lives have, should, and will always matter, and that was one of those pieces. I was the TWAB didn't have much, but that's the most important part of the entire thing.
That was the big one.
Yeah, that was big. And, for me, it's important to see because as a Black male, it's one of those things that I always feel when some injustice happens, in the moment, it's cool to see everyone come together. Right? It's cool to see everyone fight for what's right. But what I like what Bungie is doing is, you want to say the initial emotion of the moment has since passed, right? And that hashtag this has kind of calmed down.
Yeah, the
right?
black squares have faded away, right?
Exactly. But you're still seeing them talk about it. You're still seeing it. And that to me resonates even more because it's cool to do something when it's trendy in the moment and corporations want to get behind something and it's cute in the moment. But once the moment has passed, are you going to keep that same level of energy? Are you going to be consistent with that message? And to see them do that, kudos to Bungie. Like I said, and like I said, we love this game, man. It's one of the best communities, inclusive. Doesn't matter your race, ethnicity, sexuality, religion. It does not matter. At the end of the day, just treat people decent. Human decency, which should come to the forefront. And as a result, you know what I'm saying? As this great community, obviously, E met you at a convention because of this game. So, like I said, there's nothing anybody's really going to tell me about Destiny, Bungie as a company. It's one of my absolute favorites through the ups and downs. Good people, good leadership, and good message. So salute to them on this. This was cool to see. And I like to see stuff like that from all companies, honestly, not just Bungie.
Yeah. So, I mean, like the TWAB was still there, but it's such a new season, but it's cool. I mean, I live in Minnesota, pretty close to Minneapolis, St. Paul. So it's cool to see a lot of that activism and stuff starting to happen because like it's hitting us home because like most people in Minnesota, to be honest with you, like we feel like everyone kind of just like everyone gets along, but like that moment last year, that was such a moment for us as Minnesotans to be like, yo, and now it's exposed a lot of stuff that actually has been, festering. So it's cool to see a company that's getting in front of it. And we want to make sure that we value everybody who is part of our world. And like, I don't like when people are like, there's no TWAB, there's nothing necessarily in the game because there's such a fresh season, but to see them step up and be like, yo, this is this thing, this is a huge movement and we want to make sure that we continue to do that. So, that is very cool to see from a gaming company that is not only just speaking about what's going on in the game. That's how you build relationships too.
Yes.
That's how you build relationships with your community is you step up and, are strong for everyone.
Absolutely. Well said. Good stuff.
I was like, I don't think I've got anything else to cover besides that, but I definitely didn't want to end without that one for sure.
No, absolutely. Good call.
Well, Sir Mano, I knew we were going to have a lot to talk about. I thought it might be a lengthy podcast. We lived up, to say the least. We've had our ones where like we have so much to cover and we like barrel through. No, we spent an hour just getting to it. So, but it's honestly a blast. Like I've known you off and on through content and Twitter and so many things for so long. It's so awesome to like just chat with you for a while. Cause normally like I'm streaming, you're streaming, we rate each other's streams. Sometimes we rate each other at the wrong time, which is still hilarious because we've had that a couple times. I rate and you're like, I was just ending and sending. It's like, it's fine. It's cool. No, it's like much respect, just everything that you've done. Very happy to have you on. And seriously, it was an absolute pleasure. As we wrap up the show, we definitely want to let people know, where you can find you, anything you got cooking cool, anything you got planned, any like getting back into things, just like what all is going on in your world and what they can expect and where to find you. Because now the floor is yours.
Well, it's always like awesome to talk with people who are as passionate about this game. And Cognito, we've never really chatted, but it was a pleasure talking to you too, man.
Absolutely, brother.
It was cool vibing with you and just chatting and talking about that. And yeah, Bontis, has been a pleasure. So thank you for having me on. I do appreciate it. I know you've been trying to get me on for a little bit, but we had you schedule other people out and then we have technology issues, but no, it's just a testament to the great people who are here. On my side of things, I do a lot of PvE help. I'm actually hoping to start maybe getting better at the whole PvP thing and maybe start doing some trials things. Okay. The big thing that I've been doing lately, and I have to put this up on YouTube, I need to get a video editor, is undercover LFGs, which are, and I'll explain this because I know you had mentioned it. So what I'm doing is it's a cool thing because Marco Style kind of does it a little bit, but I wanted to go and see how good people who are in LFGs actually who say that they're Sherpas, how good are they? So I'll go in and I'll put on the old aviators and be like, yo, so here's what we're gonna do. And so then I'll actually talk about it. And I go in and I act like I'm this kid. I'm like this like maybe middle school, high school kid. And I have a voice changer on the Go XLR. It's kind of a little bit of the I forget the guy's name. The Kit Boga guy.
Yeah.
Like he comes in and he tries to be a different person, and we actually see what it is. And so we've run the range of people who should people who say that they're Sherpas and they don't really teach, up to a person. My most impressive one, and I'd love to put this on YouTube. It's the Sherpa you want to get.
Mm-hmm.
We got this guy who's like legit. Like I hopped in, it was Last Wish, and Cog, you're gonna love this.
Let's go.
A Sherpa for Last Wish. I was like, cool. So, and he's like, yeah, most people skip the last encounter and like how to do Riven. We're going to teach you how to do Riven legit. And he tried, and he like, we almost got there, but he just said, hey, how's everyone's time looking? Like,
yeah.
How's everyone's time looking? And people
Even
are like, well,
that's
could we just go through it, and could we just blast through? And like at the end, I actually revealed it, and it was a huge moment for him because it was like, yo. So I gave him like a soundtrack and stuff like that. But that's something that I've been doing recently.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
And it's cool just to see the people who are awesome trying to help in the community. But it's also funny to also see the people who say that they're Sherpas and they're really not.
Dude, yeah, if you've done a little bit of LFC, you probably had some experiences.
Yeah.
And I have had some pretty solid, like, you guys were awesome, nice, helpful. And I'm like, hey, I don't raid that often. I'm usually able to like kind of carry my own. But it's just the ones when you get the spectrum of what you just went through when you said Last Wish trying to do it, or like, I want to show you how to do it for real. That is a short list of people. That's impressive.
Oh, yeah.
You even found that unicorn in a haystack. So,
absolutely. Yeah. And I want to shout out real quick too, because on the same level, my man Back for Dead, if he's in there, and he joined the clan maybe about a year and a half, 2 years ago, and like he has been a godsend for Sherpa. You know, as far as getting completely green people, never done a raid before in their life, and then pulling them through, and it's just cool to see. And then you see the fever start for Destiny, you know what I'm saying? And you see how like, all right, it's cool. But yeah, great point, man. I like that concept. That's cool.
Yeah.
I like
so
that
anyway, that's one thing I'm doing. Plus, lots of PVE and other helps. Part of the thing that's a schedule thing for me, and I'm trying not to do too much, but it's just we're getting back to full-time teaching. So like instead of doing this hybrid schedule, like I'm doing this schedule where I see some of the kids one day. It looks like we're going to go back to like full-time. So like my full-time band director job is going to kind of kick back in. So I'm going to be less and less, available to do stuff. So I'm kind of working that out, but you can find me at twitch.tv/ManoDestra777 or on Twitter at the ManoDestra. I would love to get the ManoDestra or just ManoDestra on Twitter or all these other things. I'm waiting for the name availability to kick in.
Nice.
But that's my big jam is helping people raids. If there's a new dungeon, I'm telling you, I'm gonna be right there. Harbinger doing those things too. That's where I'll be. And just vibing on the game when I get time and go from there.
Cannot wait for crossplay for Sherping.
Oh yeah. That's gonna be
just
huge.
Be like, you're streaming, be like, just join my game session and I can help anybody.
Yeah,
dude,
that'd be awesome.
That would be so nice. So no,
awesome.
cannot wait to see everything you do. Because honestly, shout out, like doing all this banner, everything else, and you're a Twitch partner now. Like you have been killing. I don't know how much sleep you get, but you've been killing it.
I wish I got more.
Yeah, everybody's always like, what do you do? I'm a band director, I'm a Destiny content creator, I'm a streamer, and I have tape on my eyelids to try and do all this stuff at the same time.
Man.
Yeah,
man. If I had a family, I would not be able to do it. So it's cool. But thank you guys for having me on. It's been awesome just chatting about it. We hit a lot of really good stuff. So it's been awesome, man.
Didn't actually hit as deep on this, like going through the bullets of the season as I thought. We just kind of roundabout got to them, so it was good. Cog, what do you got? Anything fancy coming up for the weekend?
Yeah, man.
Not the halftime show I'm talking about either.
You're funny. Boom, boom, boom. I know you're hilarious. Yo, first of all, shout out to Mano, man, for coming through. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, great perspectives, lot of passion, love the takes. You know what I'm saying? I love what you're doing out there in the community. Really cool stuff. And first time got a chance to interact with you. So this was very cool. Very cool. So salute to you. Yeah, definitely a fun show. The tangents were great. Yeah, man, you know me, Lord Cognito on Twitter. Come check us out on Sunday. Iron Lord Podcast will be the Lord's Day. We're gonna have an old veteran returning. Eric's Gaming. Eric's Gaming is coming up.
Really? Holy cow! Is he coming back?
Yeah, he'll be on Sunday on 1 p.m.
Nice.
Eastern. Check us out on
He's
YouTube.
been on 1 or 2 other times.
Yeah, he's been on, like, it's been a while since he's been on. It's probably been like a year. I think last time you were on one time when I had him on the first time.
I think I popped in for a little bit because you guys were talking about probably Destiny or something at one point. But
yeah, so it's gonna be funny because the last time we had him on, Anthem was about to come out. And that's how long. That's why it's so funny. Because I give you a preview.
That hurts a little bit because that's a.
Yeah, one of the topics gonna be like, yeah, so about this potential cancellation. So come check us out. We're gonna have some cool gaming topics. It'll be fun in the realm. And I just want to also, I got the hat on today, but thank everyone for the support of lordsofgaming.net. It really means a lot. The writers that we have really been killing it, man. Fantastic topics. There's a great there's a great article right now that got up about Assassin's Creed. It's lost its identity. It's really, a lot of people have it's a debate right now. Like, it's a big thing, all because of this article. So again, we appreciate the retweets. Whenever you see something on lordsofgaming.net, on their Twitter account, the LogNet Twitter account, and you guys share it, it means a lot to us. We're really doing well. And I'll put this out in the universe because I've been meaning to say this for a while. If anyone's interested in writing about that favorite game of ours, that Destiny, please contact me. I'm looking for definitely someone who is passionate about writing about Destiny and maybe it doesn't have to be new stuff, but if they're just interested in the game and making something about it, just please reach out to me. I am looking for that. I would like to get a little bit of more flavor in that. But that's all I got, man. And of course, that last word with E. We back at it again. You know what I'm saying? It was a good show as always, and I love the content you put out. I saw the keep it simple, stupid for me recaster. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, what's going on?
The sad thing is to try and keep it simple to 30. Like, now, granted, I'm long-winded. I know it. Mm-hmm. So it's like, for me to do something short's not going to be, but to truly like. The feedback on those videos has been good because, like, they're 30-minute videos to break down leveling for new players and all, but I got timestamps. Mm-hmm. But then the recaster, the hammer, the table, the Umbral Engrams, I'm like, Jesus, there's a lot to go through. So, no, I'm glad some people have been enjoying that. Hopefully it does. It may not be the biggest video, but if some people understand the season better, then cool, I helped. So that's the goal. Yep. And that's what you'll find for me is literally just on the YouTube channel. Obviously going to be covering Destiny. We know it's going to be heavy Destiny right now, but I'm still working through Immortals Phoenix Rising, so I'll probably get back to that one day. We know Outriders going to be doing some preview coverage for that. The demo will be the 25th, so I'll be hitting that hard. Yes. And then April 1st will be, of course, the big release. So that actually seems to fall at a quiet time for Destiny, which is good. I'm totally fine with that. So you can look forward to that stuff from me. So Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, streaming on both now, kind of going back and forth. About to turn on the channel memberships on YouTube as well. So just trying to get all the cogs going at this point and then still kickboxing on the side. So I'm going to throw this because we're not doing any fitness stuff today. Just because I'm going to call that now, so don't even try and redeem any points. But
shut them down.
Yeah.
What exclusive we getting?
Look behind me.
Oh,
what's he got?
Okay. Oh, is this now included?
Oh,
is this we getting we about to get an instruction. Okay, we get the instruction. Okay. It's on now. We gonna get those kicks. Those four. Oh, okay.
Wait, did he just kick that? Hold on. Did that animal just like literally just? Was there an animal back there?
No, there's no animal. It's
okay. I thought I saw like a cat back there, and then you just like kicked the crud out of that thing, and I was like, that animal didn't even move. Is he just desensitized? No, I don't know.
Yo, we getting that kickboxing instruction now. It's on now. Ooh,
save that for your future. I don't even know how many points that one's going to cost you guys, but it's going to be a lot.
When did you get that?
I've had that for a while. So that's from my work, actually. When we switched brands, I brought that one home. And it's been upstairs at our workout room, but we rearranged some stuff because my wife's desk was back there, as you guys know.
Yes.
But we switched to move some things around. So now this is hanging out down here in this room. So Dakota, you're dreaming if you think it's just 10K. It's going to be more. Some of you guys have more channel points. Virtual kickboxing class with Ibantis. Yeah. So just to tease that one for some random future time. But for now, just the push-ups and setups. We'll leave it at that.
Nice. That's fine.
But yeah, honestly, like even like Super Mario 3D World came out today, and honestly, I really want to play that a little bit. So we'll see if I get that on my Switch. Because if you haven't played Super Mario 3D World, honestly, one of the best Marios I've played in ages. It was excellent on Wii U. So Other than that, man, Mano, pleasure, a blast. You're welcome back anytime
thanks,
because
guys.
obviously we can't talk to crap about this game because we play it too
Sure.
much. So, but yeah, I know you'll be busy with the band director stuff, so get the cadence of your downtime. Find us and we'll get you in.
Sounds great, man. Yeah, you just let me know. I'm always down. It's been a pleasure. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you guys in chat. You guys have been awesome to put up with the technical difficulties. If you want the middle stuff that we talked through, it'll be on my YouTube channel, Iron Lord's Podcast YouTube channel, iTunes, Spotify, pretty much anywhere you can find it. That will be definitely out there everywhere and edited in full. And then for this episode, February 12th, man, Mano, it's been awesome. Cog, of course, enjoy your weekend with the excellent guest you got coming. Go check out the Iron Lord's Podcast channel. But for tonight, the long episode, we wrap it up. Episode number 136 for February 12th. It has been the last
word.